I'm saying?
Yeah.
The wide angle.
Let me turn a little bit. I'm working on my poses.
You got a pose room over there?
Just all
Hey, why you gotta
mirrors.
put me on blast
All
like that?
mirrors.
What about this
You
angle?
don't want to see my bedroom. No, I'm
This
just
angle might do it. Let's get this show started. There it is.
This is the Okayest Hunter podcast.
There he is.
Never pass on shooter bucks, because that's just meat in the freezer.
Cheers, man.
It's your tag. You hunt how you want. This is Okayest Hunter.
Woo! Last week was a doozy. If you're back for more this week, you're a
Get
trooper.
ready.
You're a trooper.
Get ready.
Love our listeners, the callers, the listeners, the commenters, engagers. We even love our haters.
Even the haters that
Like-
randomly engage when you think they're not listening. We love you.
Haters need the most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Good
They
love, good
probably
troll.
do. They really
Got it.
do need some love in their life.
Yeah.
And I don't mean the kind you're thinking about when I just said that. I mean,
No.
like, they probably need a hug.
Probably.
Hey.
But you know what? It's all engagement. So that's what we're here for.
Yeah. Thanks for the algorithm.
Just here for the
dick.
engagement.
Yeah.
Keep
what?
feeding the beast.
Shots fired.
Anyway, and by the way, the Packers won. So anyone listening to this that's not from Wisconsin, sorry. Not
Yeah.
sorry.
Bear.
Love-
Especially those
absolutely.
Illinois folk.
Yeah, those Illinois folk can really
Dude,
F
saw
the
a little
Bears.
kid out coming in the snowstorm today. Had his cheese head on, shooting hoops in the street. I was like,
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Like you that kid was
Love
raised
to
right.
see it.
Exactly.
It's not a fandom, it's a way of
Standard
life.
Wisconsin
That's great.
kid. Yeah, loved it. Love to see it.
Anyway, welcome to the show. This is the Okayest Hunter podcast. If you are new here, thanks for hanging out. This is a live broadcast show every Tuesday-ish, for the most part, 6 p.m.-ish to 7 p.m.-ish. All the ish is in there.
A lot of ish.
I should get a shirt that says that. All the ish. A lot of ish. Anyway, welcome to the show. This is how we do things. And if you're a returning guest, you know how it goes. But phone lines are hot while we record live or stream live. So 262-757-4122. We are brought to you by Half Rack. Go to half-rack.com and check out all their gear. They're at ATA this week. Busy fellas over there. So
Big
couple
week
sales
for the
will be-
outdoors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, ATA is this week. SHOT is not next week, but the following week. So everyone has to then tear down and then hightail across the country to the next biggest show.
Oh yeah.
We are entering trade show season
we are.
and potentially turkey hunting season and all the other fun stuff
be
that
here
goes
before
on
you
while
know it.
A
we're
lot on the move.
ending. Deer season is sunsetting here in Wisconsin soon.
Fortunately.
Sad.
I know.
Yeah. Other partners, Latitude Outdoors, shout out to those guys. Shout out to Spartan Forge. And I think that's all we have. We have some announcements that we're going to hold off on till the end of the month, till all the dust settles. So stay tuned because it's
Spicy.
going to be a pretty fun lineup here. And then last housekeeping item before we get into this stuff is we're part of a network. Okayest Hunter has given birth to a bunch of babies.
A bunch.
And
We're
now
gonna
Fertile.
Yeah.
We are fertile
A
here.
lot of testosterone over here.
fertile
Just saying.
myrtle of the
Yeah.
podcast.
The rut is year round. Yeah.
So this time last year we had just Okayest Hunter as a podcast, and then Greg, God bless his soul, prodded and nudged and poked and like
Thank you for that.
push me
Love it.
really hard into I want to do this. He was like a child. I'm gonna hold my breath and stop my feet until you give me the Okayest Fisher podcast.
Yeah.
Him and Matt.
Good job, buddy.
So they succeeded.
Yeah, old eagle eye. Yeah.
And so that was one. Then our a friend Elizabeth Brownell from Virginia reached out and said, "Hey, I'm an adult onset hunter, female hunter in the space.
Yeah.
Would love to help others kind of learn what I learned, and would love to do a podcast." So she came on board.
That's
And then-
Rookie Hunter.
Yep, rookie hunting,
super-
Congratulations.
Yeah.
or maybe Upduck
Earn
was
orders.
first. I don't remember the order. Upduck, which is
I think you had Upduck, I think. I
Tyler's
remember.
my
Yeah.
business partner in
Yeah.
this whole endeavor, Tyler Meaden, and then Jeff Ludicky and Matt Jeske run that one. It's a blend of
Okay.
bird
Yeah.
hunting, upland, and duck hunting.
Guys
with
are
a
good stuff.
through line of dog hunting, dog
Yeah.
training. Not dog hunting, but like using dogs to hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have a lot
Um,
of good stuff on there. I watch
yeah.
that stuff a lot.
What else? Then we brought on Southern U, which is like a Southern habitat and biology based podcast. We just brought on the Okayest Trapper.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet.
That's the newest one, right?
Yeah.
That's the newest. We brought on Paul Campbell with Turkey Season, which is like not
Nice.
tactical and strategy. It's more like historical, how the bird shaped America
Okay.
kind of
Yeah,
thing.
that's
So
pretty
very
cool
narrative
take.
story. Did I get them all, Greg? We have 7. Did I say 7?
Yeah. I think we got them all.
Right.
And probably
I remember my
eventually.
at my wedding.
I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
We got
Yeah.
2 more on deck. So we're priming
Oh.
the pump for 2 more to pop out here in this next quarter. And
Very fertile.
we just keep
Here we
laying
go.
eggs, having
Yeah.
babies. I don't know. Like we're
just keep doing it. Love that.
So it's growing and it's exciting. It's really exciting. All these other hosts like carry the mantra of okayestness. I
Yeah.
as a prerequisite, I have people pitch me on why they're okay.
Okay. That's good. What is the best pitch that you've heard?
I mean,
Was there somebody
like
that was
Greg
like,
was a given,
know what?
Tyler was a given, these other guys were givens, but like Southern U is pretty interesting because I was like, wait a second, I almost didn't bring them on because I just didn't see it,
Sure.
And Taylor, the main contact I have over there, he's like, I am you. You wouldn't believe the shit.
Yeah.
I'll tell you the story about that. And I was like,
Right.
on my lunch break, I take break from work to go lunch. I'll just go to the gas station
Sure.
and walk. So like I'll be on like 10 phone calls in my 10-minute walk
Oh, yeah.
to go pick up an energy drink or whatever. And I remember talking to Taylor and like, tell me why. And now I'm like, I need to do it with everybody. Everyone needs to tell me why. they're
Yeah.
That's
okay.
pretty cool.
So
I like that.
it's kind of like
That's the interview
How
process.
okay are you really?
yeah, we
Yeah.
don't want an elitist.
No.
Like, that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
Not our role, not our style.
So I got these guys in here in studio. Why don't you guys just take a second to introduce yourselves real quick? What camera am I on? Here we
You
go.
want to go first or should
Take the
I?
lead, ET. Come on. This is
Yeah, I'll do
bread and
that.
butter here.
Erik Tasker, Wisco bow hunting. I've been trying to be very active lately and got a lot of great things going on. When you were talking about rookie hunting, I think is the show, right?
Yep.
Adult onset hunter is kind of the
Okay.
feeling that I have with it all. I mean, I got my hunter safety when I was 22. So now 15 years of hunting and just really diving all in and trying to make the best of it. And I think as we'll find out more, this year wasn't everything that we all hoped it to be,
You
but
two both had ridiculous
Wild
seasons.
wild
So, like,
years.
Thank you.
That's
wild.
Yeah.
It's a
Hey,
compliment. I
Hey,
love
man.
it.
Yeah, it was wild. It was
Yeah. So
ridiculous.
just right
Got some
here,
stories for sure.
kind of your neighbor. I mean,
Now you
without
are.
giving away,
Yeah.
without giving away too much of my location because I post a lot of backyard bucks. Also do a show that we've worked together on 97.3 here in Milwaukee. I've kind of taken the lead on that, and just love bow hunting. I mean, I love just shooting my bow.
Yeah, you got a hat on that says Wisco Bow Hunting.
Wisco bow hunting, yeah, and I love doing everything with whether that's 3D shooting and just shooting year round, or just spending time with the family and getting up north. We do Eau Claire County public land,
Okay.
and and then I've been starting to dabble into some of the public around here. So just trying to figure out new territory and shoot my bow or take my bow with me wherever I can.
Yeah.
So
Keep it in your truck, your car,
Yeah.
whatever you got.
All
right, Vince,
Well,
you get the spotlight.
It's Vinny. My name's Vince Markwiese. Snapback Outdoors. Fins up, Greg. We move fish. You know how it is. Huh? But no. So me and Eric, we do a lot of things together here. I think we met first. It was for a muskie fishing show a couple years back on his station there. Oh yeah, calling the big guns. I'm just kidding. I'm definitely fall under the the category of your guys' mantra, the okayest. I'm not an elitist big buck killer by any means. I mean that's what I'm here for. I mean, I love big bucks. I can't lie.
Yeah.
But really, it's just I grew up in the outdoors hunting fishing. We have a family farm that's been in our family homestead since the 1800s.
Oh my God, where is that located?
It's in Lemire, just south of Lemire. It borders by the Tressa Marsh.
Okay.
So
That's cool,
it's
man.
really like our earliest ancestors, I've been told, can like remember seeing like Native Americans coming through the fields.
That's some like Yellowstone
Wow.
shit.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like we found like plowing
1800s.
like broadhead rock, like we found random shit. Like, well, we leased farming land off to farmers. It used to be an active farm, it's not anymore.
Mhm.
But really, just through the generations, I have a lot of memories, being on the farm as a kid, and I grew up with, my dad teaching me these things. But just due to, my parents are older, and just due to the family being all older, it's really like when I got to like that teenage time when you're like really like, all right, I'm a hunter, I'm trying to do this sort of thing. I didn't really have, everyone stopped. So I really had to self-learn a lot of things on myself.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? So like even to this day, I don't think I've hunted with a family member really on the farm. Besides this year, our cousin came out from New York to hunt. But I hunt by myself on this farm, and like that's where I started. I got invited to this deer camp with his, where you guys go up and declare, like he was just talking about. So I got to the point where it was just like, I have a really good area to hunt, but just that whole I missed out on the whole camaraderie of being with friends, because just the way the family thing works, how Lango, hey, you can't bring no one on, and it sucks.
Sure, yep.
So I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'll go hunt public wherever I just want to be a part of that whole tradition. And like, it got to the point where it's like, I didn't even care about shooting the deer part, like I want that deer camp thing that everyone talks about.
Yep.
But basically, yeah, man, I'm really wheeling and dealing, learning a lot, trying to execute. And really, I think the biggest thing for me is that I am just such like a country boy kind of dude. Like I'm so enthusiastic all the time. Energy levels on 10.
Can't tell.
Give me a run for my money.
I love just being in the outdoors.
10 is not the energy level you operate. I think 15 and a half at least.
Yeah,
not a 10.
This is true.
This is true.
I don't stop, and that's the way I love living my life. You know what I mean? I love doing the things that I love to do. And I think that's the way a lot of people should. But, it's really just hunkering down and just like being grateful to be out there experience. Like I love like looking at like little grasshoppers. I'm out there. I'm like, oh, this is so cool.
A lot of Vince's reels are like blades of grass blowing in the breeze.
But yeah,
it's great.
I'm a scenic man. I love God. I love Jesus Christ. It's what, my Lord and Savior.
Greg does the same stuff,
dude. Right,
does the same stuff.
It's
Tubs.
just, yeah, man. Just being grateful to be out there and doing what we love here. But yeah, man, bow hunting, muskie fishing. And I incorporate the whole lifting with my outdoor thing. Like the whole thing I'm kind of running with is like, bodybuilding off of wild game that I harvest. I'm not gonna lie. I put down a deer this year in a month. I'm out of any. I'm getting donations at this point. I shot.
You want some?
Yes.
Okay.
No short answer. I mean, yes. I'm gonna have to pull a Tubbs and start smoking 3 deer at a crack every time I go out there because I've realized this year I was like, dang, because
You want if you're going to eat clean to lift, you got to go through some meat.
Well, I'm eating venison 3 or 4 times a day.
Yeah.
So I shot a smaller doe bow hunt gun opener, and I did the math, and I was like, that took me about 4 to 5 weeks to put down. So I'm like, how much would I really need to last me?
12 deer.
Well, good thing I have 3 doe tags.
God, I would have looked like I was passing a kidney stone.
It's not the most fun. But hey,
it's usually done in Excel sheets, but
I can't do that.
Sometimes we can.
So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah.
Bow hunting, muskie fishing, and lifting, and just intertwining all that, and just doing this. Getting in the community. Really, it's just like we all met at Foam Fest. That was super cool. I loved the Foam Fest.
Yeah,
that was
I'm
a
glad
good
you guys
course.
made it.
Yeah, already looking forward to next year.
It's a pain in the plan. To some degree,
sure.
It's getting easier because I'm starting to know the folks.
Got it down to a science now. I don't think it's that.
I mean, they changed things on me from one year to the next, so hopefully now we're in a good groove.
They got to keep you on your toes, so it's fine.
Yeah, but no, I mean, hey, we have a caller already. Who's calling us? Cripes.
Oh, that was quick.
Who do we got? I'm not sure what to make of this transcription here.
Oh,
Justin Apple First Egg, White River Rambo calling about future ATA releases and things to look forward to. I think it's Dustin Apple. I don't know that this caller has ever called before, so let's bring him in.
Bring him in? Yeah, let's do it.
Go for it.
I got all night, man.
Dustin, I believe it's Dustin. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, boys. How's it going? Fan of the Okayest Hunter. I'm a big TikToker. If you guys don't know who I am, done a lot of bow fishing stuff and YouTube over the years. But traveling back again to the ATA, and I like to do interviews on the ATA floor, and I thought I would just holler at the panel tonight. I seen you guys come on live here, so thought I'd ask about all the little things that you may have heard through the grapevine or products that you're looking forward to, future releases.
Usually
I know
we're more in the know.
I heard today.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I heard today about Magnus is supposed to have a new single bevel that they're going to be releasing.
I did see it.
Interesting.
Greg, the drool off your lips.
Yeah.
Right away, a guy talks about single bevels. He gets a little excited. And, you know,
I know he's over.
oh, it got
Craig
on me.
level.
Got to get this guy going right away.
Yeah.
Skip the four.
I haven't heard much, which is funny because I work in the industry. Well, that's not entirely true. A lot of what I know about, I actually have in some NDAs, so I can't. But there's definitely going to be a number of things.
There's enough social media presence out there. There's enough brand ambassadors that are leaking information that if you pay close enough attention to certain people, you'll be able to see the cool new stuff that's dropping.
Yeah, ATA is fun for that reason. I won't be at ATA this year. I was there the last 2 years, and then I was there one other random year. But I decided to swap ATA for SHOT Show this year, under the premise that I think most people at our ATA are also at SHOT, but not the other way around. I think SHOT has about
way to put it.
just
Try and get across the
3,000
country is
exhibitors.
just too much.
Yeah, it's just a lot.
Yeah.
Family. I can't be gone that much.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, so are you walking the show floor then, Dustin, or?
Yeah, so my wife will be my cameraman. I was walk in the booths and offer each brand, the opportunity to make content, and sometimes that stems future relationships. But if anybody would like to reach out, you can find any of my social medias and send me a message. My emails are always listed, but I do have a handful of interviews set up to have already been welcomed into the booths for releases that are upcoming. I totally understand the NDAs. Got a couple myself, but I just like promoting archery and promoting the outdoors, in a positive light. So it's always fun to have the interaction. Kind of a different flavor to what you guys do, but somewhat of the same thing too.
Yeah, and what's the social handle? Is it River Rambo? Is that did my transcription get it right, or what is it?
White River Rambo.
White River Rambo. Good to go. We'll give you guys a follow, and then
Absolutely.
if you're at ATA, which sounds like you are, I would say stop by the Half Rack booth, say hi to those guys. Stop by the Latitude booth, say hi to those guys. We work closely with both of those brands, and I think it'd be great for you to stop in and say, hey, the Okayest Hunter dude say hi via the live podcast last night or whenever you get to talk to him. So
Look at White River Rambo.
Yep,
74,000 followers. Good for you, man.
which one? Is that on
TikTok.
you're on the TikTok?
Okay, I
here?
think I got him on.
73.9.
It's Dustin Apple, right?
Nice. Yep.
I
Good
got
for
him on
you,
Instagram.
man.
Yep.
Cool,
That's
man.
great.
Awesome.
I'm trying to be 100,000 accounts. So anybody wants to come over and give me a follow, I appreciate it.
Yeehaw, man. Giddy up.
Been
Shout your
on
buddy.
been on YouTube, 2 different channels for about 12 years, but it's kind of random, outdoorsy stuff. But I absolutely love doing the ATA show because obviously it's a privilege to be there and to get those credentials. So always want to show everybody in a positive light, regardless of brands. So
Good deal.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
have
pretty
fun,
sweet. Awesome, man.
and we'll look forward to seeing what you drop on your channels.
I appreciate it, guys. Y'all stay safe and stay warm up there. If you guys,
We're getting it
if
right
you ever,
now.
We got snowstorm brewing right now.
if any of you ever do any of the spearing for sturgeon, I have always wanted to do that. So might have to reach out to y'all.
No,
Big
that
thing
is
up
the
here.
thing. I love that. Big sturgeon spear. Love that.
Rock on. Thanks for the call, man. Enjoy.
Y'all have a good night.
You too. New caller.
Wow, how about that?
You guys were here for a new caller.
Hey, Knox, what's up?
I got distracted, man, because it was this White River Rambo, and then this video was like, just this was at first, and then there he is.
He's doing like the Justin
See?
Davis
I love
thing.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I
Caught
mean,
my attention.
that'll hook me in.
What are you looking at, honey? Ah, it was the turtle.
Yeah,
collar in
it's
the
this
background.
guy doing product reviews. I don't know
Very
what's going
fertile.
on here.
Very
Yeah,
fertile.
very fertile. Very fertile.
It's the most fertile
Love
episode. Another podcast hasn't come out of this episode, I swear.
Greg left. Greg has
gone.
left the building. He
Chair.
left Joe Mama's house.
I'm here.
Just start talking.
Come on.
Let's get into
Yeah.
into the topic at hand here.
Sure.
I want to hear more about when your season doesn't go as planned or go right, or your guys' season went fucked. Like
It's been quite a year, huh?
your
Kind of.
eyeball
Kind-
got
yeah,
all
okay.
weird. You had
Yeah.
some shit going on.
Yeah.
I went blind for a week. Completely
Yeah.
blind. Yeah.
That's scary because
No, it was.
my knee fucked up, and I was like, oh no, I'm never gonna walk.
my
right
life
again.
is
No,
over.
I'm not kidding. and I'm like in the
My eye
net.
gets.
And,
I'm like, I'm out.
Well,
Dude,
we get
I'm in this-
this-
I'm in
we got
the-
Lieutenant Dan with his knees. We got Stevie Ray. We got Ray Charles over there with his eyeballs. Or what can I leave you?
Oh boy, I got everything going on, man. Well, I don't know. You want me to start? I mean, you kind of were teeing it up, but so we had
This
so
is good, by
this
the
year
way. Sorry,
was.
this is really.
I'm
good.
gonna have to.
It's
Yeah,
very smooth.
I told you, man. I'm gonna be going through these bourbons like it's
Okay.
nothing. So the season started, and I think last year it was almost a year to the date that I was on with you guys last year.
Wow, that's crazy.
It was Valentine's Day. Easy to
Good
remember.
memory. Wow.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Very
Because it was
fertile.
just a unique day, and it's like, oh yeah, me and Ritter are gonna come in, and it's like, well, we don't care about Valentine's
I
Day.
don't
Our
either.
wives don't care
Yeah,
about
same.
Valentine's Day, so it works out.
Nice.
So last year I was very fortunate to shoot a nice 130-inch 8-pointer, and it was the biggest deer that my family had ever shot. And I just remember the clip that you posted of the fuck yeah. And this year I just Vince and I shot Summer League. We spent a lot of time shooting our bow, and I think the whole prelim of our season was whatever's going to happen this year, we're going to be ready because we've shot our bow enough. We've done 3D a ton.
3D archery is really great for that.
We've
reason.
done
Yeah.
so many different things, and we've shot hundreds or thousands of arrows that if we get an opportunity, we're going to be ready for it. And started off the season that I had just moved to Oconomowoc, and I was doing things around the house, and I'm like, I have a hat on, so you can't really tell, but I'm like kind of balding, and forever my wife and my mom had been telling me, oh, you got a spot on your head, you should really get it checked out. And I'm like, it's fine, right? It's just like a freckle, or it's just a mole, whatever. So last year, actually, at my physical, I ended up actually just saying something to the PA, and she's like, yeah, I'll write you a referral, you should get it looked at. So my wife had some things that were happening right after that in December of last year. We were getting the house ready to sell for this year, and then moving, obviously. So we just had like a kind of a whirlwind of a year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was up late one night. It's like 12 o'clock, midnight, watching, I don't know.
Chewing on some gummies.
Chewing on some gummies, doing whatever, watching deer hunting videos.
Yeah.
And I kind of scratched my head, and I'm like, oh man, that thing is raised. So I'm like, you know what?
That's hilarious.
I really should get that thing checked out. Well, then as I was just more conscious about it, I scratched it. It started bleeding, and I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, this probably is not a good indicator of whatever's going on. So I went in, got a biopsy. Turned out it's skin cancer.
Oh,
So
shit, that's terrifying.
Yeah.
News
And
to receive. Like, I don't need to know anything, but if the cancer ever enters the
The
doctor's
C comes
office,
up.
I'm like,
Yeah.
freaking out.
Wait,
not
what?
good.
Yeah.
And they ended up biopsying it right away that day that I went in to see my dermatologist, and everything went pretty quickly after that. But, from the time that this was early October, I'm coming into this prime of deer season, and I'm thinking,
the back of your mind's going, fuck this.
Yes.
This is going to mess my deer
bullshit.
season.
Worst.
Like, what's going on with rutcation? And then like, I'm going to be back. And then what happens after that? So I end up going to meet. I had to, because it was on my scalp, it was a call for a plastic surgeon. So I actually had to go and meet with a plastic surgeon about it.
Pretty big deal.
And that was the week before I was leaving for my rutcation.
Okay.
So here I have that weighing on me as I'm going into it, thinking, I don't know what's going to happen here. Go on the rutcation, find out the day before I leave, everything's going to be fine. I'm going to end up having surgery the Wednesday after I get back. So surgery ended up being a skin graft from my thigh to replace the skin that they were taking off of my scalp.
Wow. How's
And then
your thigh look?
Gnarly.
actually not terrible. I mean, I would show you, but
Some
we
scar
got
tissue kind of looking.
it's just like a red square right now.
Okay.
Which is just kind of interesting. I mean, my dad actually had a skin graft as well when he was younger because he I don't know, dropped
just like
grease
skin,
or whatever.
like under a scab kind of thing.
It's not even
You know
a
what I
scab.
mean?
It's just
But
like
you know
a
what I mean,
pink
like the skin
square.
under a scab.
Yeah.
So it wasn't any like earth-shattering foreskin transplant type stuff, was it?
It was not. No. But I
Yeah,
will tell
been
you
there.
that when I woke up from being put out from my surgery, the first thing that I checked was downstairs, and I was like, damn it doesn't hurt. So I'm like, well, I mean, I guess good news is that it didn't get smaller. And bad news is it didn't get bigger.
Take
So
every inch we get.
and
man.
like,
Yeah.
boy. So what I had to have done is I had a with melanoma, the thing is that it can get into your bloodstream. That's the first concern that they have. And so what I had to do is I had to have dye injected into my scalp, and then it transfers down.
So they can see. Yeah.
So they can see. They had to actually like map it to the closest lymph nodes, which are in your neck. Well, unfortunately for me, directly in the middle of my scalp, so it mapped evenly to both of my lymph nodes, one on each side. So I actually have a lymph node removed from both sides of my neck. So I had that surgery on November 8th, so I'm almost exactly 2 months to the date after.
Scary. Like
I was terrified to be put out.
For anything.
No? Really?
And I had nightmares about it because I had never been put out before, and it was just so terrifying.
I had my kid go under, and that was fucking terrifying.
Yeah,
I feel like I'd be more terrified over that, even just like my kid over, like like put me. I mean, that had to be.
Oh yeah,
yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. But anyway.
So I'm recovering from surgery. So that's November 8th. So I did not hunt.
I know.
The absolute worst time, right? So November 8th, and then my 1 week follow up. My biggest issue with all of it was the skin graft was like the worst in the recovery because it's right in the middle of your thigh. So you think like every time you take a step, your quad shakes, so it was very painful, and it was
some, like, thigh rubbing chafage feeling.
It was just a lot of things. And when I went to go in for my checkup, the nurse is like, "Why are you limping?" I was like, "'Cause this shit hurts. Like it hurts to step."
Yeah,
what do you mean? Why am I limping? And she's like, "Well, quit babying it." And I was like, "Well, if you're saying quit babying it, does that mean that I can go to gun camp this weekend?" She's like, "I think you should go to gun camp this weekend because like you'll get away, you'll stop thinking about all this stuff." And then that Friday, so that was that Wednesday, that Friday, as I was driving up north, I got my results, whatever. That
you log in your My Chart, and you're like, "Oh, all right."
Yeah. And the doctor called me as I was driving up north, and there was nothing found in my lymph nodes. Nothing. They got almost 95% of it taken out when they did the biopsy. And I had an appointment actually today with oncology that, like, fortunately, I don't have to do any further treatment. I don't have to do any scans.
No
and
chemo.
No chemo, no none of that.
Yeah.
Because one of the, like, if it actually did get to my lymph nodes, what would have happened is I would have been on a year-long schedule of IV therapy of some sort or another, which is the next step after that.
Like no more gummies. You're okay.
Well, I might have to. I might have to start doing gummies. But it really threw my entire season for a loop.
Yeah,
because
sure.
it was not only that, but then it's like, I had like some setbacks with recovery and just trying to like work through some things. And like, I think the worst part about it was that my energy was so wonky that it was like one day I could wake up and I could just rule the world, and for like a week after that I like couldn't do anything. And it's like, okay, well, now we're in early December, and like I want to be out hunting and I want to be out doing all these things, and I lost my appetite for a lot of things that I wanted to actually do because I just really wanted to be better and recover and get through all
the
those
about my
things.
knee and my shoulder blowing out. So like,
it's fine. It's
nothing.
But you know what? I
but
mean,
it
everybody's
fucks with
going
you.
through something,
Yeah, it messes with you.
and that's where it's.
That was the story of the year.
Greg
so
got a
that
hernia
was
1 year. That was terrible, right, Greg?
What's that? Hernia?
Yeah, remember that? That was 2 years ago.
I remember it well. I remember it so
Poking through.
rescheduled twice.
Man,
I know. I was watching. I was like, look at this.
Yeah, what is he doing? Are you fine tuning
Don't play
things?
by your tongue again.
I like your style. Yeah.
It's just.
There's always a leg. That we see here is a leg.
I know. Yeah.
But what I see it real over here. So
Okay.
But yeah, so that was. So that happened, obviously throughout November. Like a lot of my November was shot, and
But we got to go to our vacation before,
which was right before
he went in
that.
for surgery.
Yeah, so he actually
kind of
came
like
up.
you're kind of like, this might be your last one,
right.
Well,
We're
shit,
going
I didn't
hard,
know.
you know?
I didn't know what was in store for me, and so
you guys are crying and shit.
oh my god, it's just like
it was
yeah,
pretty it was
and
emotional.
well, and I think a really weird thing for me was that so that the Monday that I got the biopsy done, that Thursday I left to go visit St. Jude because St. Jude is a huge partner that we have with our radio station that we do a big radiothon every year. So while I was there, I was waiting on test results for cancer,
Yeah.
That
which
hits
is
even
something
deeper.
that
that hits you in the
It was
feels.
like-
oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a very, very weird thing. And like going to the doctor's office, and I have my like St. Jude notebook, and I'm like taking notes, and it's just it's
You're
something
very
you
cl-
can
you got
never
really close to it.
expect.
Yeah.
You know, and
And I think that's like,
it is what it is.
and I think that's like, even like for our take, like we both had like crazy seasons. Like I'll get into mine later, but like I think the main thing that we took from this
You
year,
guys are good friends too.
yeah,
so,
we're
like,
really
Yeah.
good friends. So like we're on. I was, with you through this whole thing, and vice versa with my stuff. And I think the name of the game, even too, this year was just like being grateful for sits. Everyone's busy or life happens.
Yeah, this
Just
could be your
being-
last hunt.
right,
Like, let's talk
like-
about buck shaming for a second. Why don't you,
Right,
like,
right,
who
right.
gives a shit
Like, dude,
Right.
I'm
about
I'm
that when you're dealing with this?
right. Like I'm grateful to be out here and see nothing. Like just
Yep.
to be out here, tune out
With
live.
your friends, with your
Yeah.
family.
Right. Like I think that took a total perspective on this year. Like, let's scale things back to like the biggest scale and just think of life like in a simplistic manner and be like, we're out here in the woods. We're out here, just I'm relaxing. I'm calming down. I'm putting work to the side. I'm putting family stuff, my medical stuff, like, and just being in touch, like your higher power or just self-reflection and just like those basic, simple things that I think we all overlook because we're all hunters and we all want to get a big buck and we're all, our minds are all, going. But I think like sometimes like God forces that in our lives to kind of like give you a little check, like, yo, hey, whoa, like,
Hey,
let me be-
remember why you
right,
started doing
exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't for horns or it wasn't for this big following or this. It's just like because like I'm like a little kid every time I stepped in that field.
Mhm.
Still I'm that 5-year-old kid tripping over corn. You know
this.
what I mean?
And
Like,
for
it was
and
that
I
kind of a
totally
year, you know.
I totally agree with that, and I love that because for me, I don't know. I mean, we
Do you
all
think
have
you needed a divine intervention in your hunting
Well,
career?
I think what was really hard for me this year, the hardest part for me with all of this was that I had that constantly weighing on my mind.
Yep.
And like we're all super busy. I mean,
Yeah, life.
you're working
Yep.
constructions, you're doing a lot of things. You've got a lot of things going on. I mean, I'm constantly like working and trying to build
Yeah.
this brand online, but also doing my actual job in a
Right.
show. And what was really hard for me was that rutcation and all this time that I take away from work is typically my time to reset, take a break, sit back
Get
and
your
reflect
batteries
on
back to
everything.
neutral.
And I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
none of that this year. So that I think also weighed on me that it
Mm-hmm.
was just like, I don't know how I'm going to get through all of this, but I also need this time away in order to be able
To
to
heal.
come back
Yeah.
and be better and have that comeback that everybody wants, you
Mhm.
know? And then of course over Christmas, I'm like super sick and I like still have a little bit of this congestion. So I've got all this time off over Christmas. I'm like, hell yeah, I'm going to go hunt. I'm going to do all this.
Boom.
And then it's like, God damn it. We got
That's how life
holiday
is,
hunts.
man,
We got
you know?
antlerless hunts and all this stuff. So my whole season just felt like it was blown up. And it felt like whenever I had 3 hours in a day, if that was at the end of the day, I was going to go sit.
Mhm.
And whether or not that ended up happening because we had all this stuff with Christmas and moving and all of that, it didn't matter at the end of the day because it was really all about like, I'm all right. I'm going to be better. I'm going to get through this. And then you know what? I don't have to shoot a monster this year. I don't have to shoot any deer this year
Mhm.
because thank God I'm going to be all right
Mhm.
and I'm going to have next year.
And it's weird.
And
Like
not everybody has that.
And it's like you look back on those, like, I mean, when you look retrospect, obviously things make sense to you. But like, and obviously this is like talking futuristically, but like I think these seasons like that are probably the most pivotal seasons for you. I mean, it teaches you a lot, not just about hunting, but like life in general. And those are seasons that stand out and you look back on. Maybe nothing happened, you didn't shoot a deer, but you're always going to remember that season. Remember
Based
when,
on
Yeah.
your life.
Yes, exactly.
Right.
So it's
The
like
season is tied to your
those are
life.
the most,
Yeah.
I feel like, almost overlooked important seasons.
Right.
I've made some of the
You know?
biggest decisions of my entire adult life by sitting in the deer woods and trying to be still.
I love that you call it the
Like-
deer woods all the time.
That's all it is. Like
That's
I
gotta
have
be
no
what
other
it is.
term. That's
Yeah,
it. It's the
love it.
deer woods, and in those deer woods, like I've sat with my thoughts and I've
Mhm.
pondered upon some significant choices, and I'm able to like have enough stillness and put myself away from all the noise in life, all the
Yeah.
chatter, all the hum, all the whatever, and I can actually like
Sure.
make a choice
Right.
based on like good clarity.
Right.
So I don't know. The Dreamers are a great place to,
it is.
Yeah.
to spend time to be still and let life move
Yeah.
around you for a change.
Kind of like scheduled. It's kind of like unscheduled, if this makes sense to you, unscheduled, scheduled, like self-reflection, like you're saying. Like,
Mhm.
normally probably because like if you're like me, like it's just like go, I got to do this, I got this. But like that is a way for us like to go hunting. That's like a way for us to like incorporate that in our lives. Like it's automatic. That's a, it's a constant. It's a constant variable there, so it's like a good thing, I think, for us hunters, that it's like, yeah, we're going hunting, but like we're doing more than just hunting. Like that's my scheduled therapy, session,
Yeah.
Yep.
But
So let me set you up for this. So
Sure,
you shoot a deer,
yeah.
and then all of a sudden you're blind. What happened in between there?
Well, there's a lot more. Okay, well, we're like we're jumping rocks.
That was the fast
we're
track.
skipping.
All
Yeah.
right.
So a lot happened before
Because we can
that.
talk about that, and then we'll talk about kind of
Yeah.
how we
Justin
handle
says
the
he's
good, yeah.
getting like, hey, what happened?
So basically, what happened was I had a crazy year. This was a fluke. Okay, but I'll just get back to the story because I'll go off on a wormhole.
You'll be tangent out.
Oh, I'll tangent it up. But so basically, I went down. So after we did our little rutcation up in the Clare, I went down by my buddy Double H Hayden. This kid's a whiz. He's a 21-year-old kid, but I'm telling you, this is like, he's like a Derek.
How old are you?
I'm 30. So we
Might as well be.
Sorry,
50.
this reminded me of a quote from Bad Boys 2 that I can't say out loud.
Spit it out.
Well, no, I can't.
Oh,
say
you
the
can't.
quote.
Oh, okay. I suppose,
You at least 30.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay,
yeah,
there's a word in there.
Yeah, I know. That was a good one. But no, so I worked with this kid. And he's my buddy. He's like, I call my big little brother. Just a very insightful, mindful kid. But this kid, like I said, he's like a Derek. Where you take him anywhere, he's got a nose for big bucks. He just one of the best hunters I've ever met.
Yeah.
Like this kid, he knows. You put him anywhere, any situation. This kid's putting you on beer. He's putting you on, I think, deer.
Yeah, well,
beer
let's talk
and
to him.
deer. Okay,
Deer. He's 21.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He's legal, But anyway, so I go down there, and he's a Monroe kid, so he's got his whole family's down Monroe. They got all these different farms and whatever. So we're setting up on one of his spots, and I'm kind of like, I was hunting hard this year. Like I said, I didn't even know if I was gonna hunt this year. And it just like happened, I wasn't able to really get out until like right before the rut, like perfect timing, actually. I didn't hunt any September or nothing, basically all of October. But anyway, so I go down on this like 2 week, I'm sleeping at truck stops for how many days and just driving around. I don't think I slept in my bed. I slept in my truck when I did my own bed for like a month or two. And so I was running on nothing, dude. I mean, straight energy drinks and freaking protein. Like I was pissing green,
Minotaur.
Oh yeah. So I get down there. So we set up. It's just a one day set, 1 day hunt, and his buddy actually smoked a really nice 8-pointer in the morning. We went and helped him track.
I thought you were going to say something else for 2 seconds after the Minotaur talk.
All right.
But all right. Go on.
Yeah,
Same thing.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So anyway, we go and we retrieve this buck, really nice deer this guy got, and we go back for an afternoon, and it was crazy. Like, I've never had a hunt like this. We're down there, and I don't know if the deer population down there is just unreal, but it's like, we got a buck coming in over there, over this valley. There's a buck there. There's does running here. It's like,
what time of year was this?
This was on November 6th.
Early November.
Oh, we're in it. So we planned it specifically. It's like, I have yet to drop like a real nice buck with my bow. So that was like really my main goal is just to get a deer with my bow this year, which I accomplished. But like, I was really trying to set up on that, and I really scaled back. So I was ready to take a 6-pointer, And so anyway, we had all this action, and right at the end of the night, so we had this real nice, like, I don't know if it was an 8 or a 10. It was biggest deer I would have ever shot.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there, I'm jonesing, I'm shaking. I'm like, oh, he's coming, he's chasing this doe, he's coming in. And for whatever reason, we're like hunting like in like a ravine, and we're on one side, and it's thick nasty, like you can't even walk through it, but we're up above it, And everything was sticking on the other side. And this buck come in, he's chasing these does. All these does are getting up out of their beds like 45 minutes before last night. And he's in here running around probably about 85 yards out. And like, I'm getting ready. The one doe crosses. I'm getting ready for this guy. I'm just like, oh my God, And he just never ends up crossing. But we saw another, like a little 6 kind of snuck in up there, and he worked a way around, and he crossed and he came in behind us. And nice little 6er. And he's sitting there, and he's like 20 yards away, dude, right behind me. I look at my buddy, and I'm like, I'll call in the morning if you want to hunt in the morning. And he's like, dude, he's like, you got to start somewhere, man. Just smoke him. I'm like,
good job.
So I pull back.
The voice of reason.
That's all I needed to hear.
The voice
that's
of
all
reason.
I needed to hear. Because I was like, do you want to hunt in the morning? He's like, I got to work, you know, and I said, all right, man. So I pull back. He's like, and of course he's like licking on a branch. I'm like sitting there holding for a minute. And I'm like, come on, you know.
You're pretty buff. You can handle it.
Yeah, he steps out.
It'll be all right.
So he steps out, and I don't know what happened. It was not a good shot. It wasn't. I think I shot behind, and
Yeah, it was back.
it was back. So he was like heavy quartering away, like almost like a 1 or 2 o'clock.
Okay.
And I shot back, which I thought would, but like my arrow, I don't know what it was. I got like no penetration in that deer.
What's your? Do you know your grain?
I'll shoot 100 grain.
No,
like the total weight?
total
No, I
grain.
don't. I
Yeah.
don't. I'm shooting what arrow? Well, I shoot the same arrows as you.
You
What do
sound like me. I don't know.
Yeah,
shit about
dude.
my
I'm
setup.
not like
Yeah.
I'm not very.
Well,
much,
no, you had those velocities,
I had
but
the
I don't know your
velocities.
spine on them.
I don't.
though.
I don't know.
With
I
a 100 grain broadhead.
So with 100 grain, but I was shooting these.
You know, one way we
I
can
mean,
solve this problem is
Sounds
if we get
like a
together
shit, right?
and I get all my stuff. You know, we get
Yeah.
together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we can. You know.
Well, guess what? I got to get
He's,
together.
he's got
flashing arrows at us right
He's
now.
like, let's get together. Yeah.
I don't
For
think
real,
there
though.
was a choice in that.
Yeah. Yes, I will. I swear. I'm coming over after this.
Right.
Is that a
Let's
flag?
not do it.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but no, seriously.
You come to my house on this day.
Yeah. Come here, son.
Good thing he's remote.
He's like
huh?
the Don, you know.
Greg,
Yeah.
what
He's gonna bless you with that thing.
Greg, let's just
Yeah.
2 sec bookmark. Greg, what are you holding there? Is that the grizzly stick? What do you got?
Yeah. This is
Yeah. Talk about it.
Silver Flame. That's a Silver Flame XL. So
That rolls right off the
So
tongue,
what
doesn't it?
what makes it an XL? What kind of cut you got on that bad boy? Like a 1 1/4 or
no, this is like 1 3/8.
What's your
3/8?
total? What's your
Okay.
total FOC? What's your grain? What do you got going on? There?
yeah? What's your feet per second? What's your
Feet per second don't even matter at that point. When you start building heavy arrows, you don't even worry about feet per second.
I love that about you, Greg.
Alright.
Greg,
what-
one of these days you and I are gonna
Makes
just
me
battle it out
feel-
over speed, over
You can't shoot
kinetic
faster
energy.
than the speed of sound.
Right.
I've had a few of
Yeah.
these conversations talking weight, arrows, and like I know guys get a little heated.
Yeah,
on it.
you get way
I
heated
heard
on it. And you know, I've gone down both paths. I've tried to build something for speed. I know it doesn't penetrate worth a shit. I went.
Oh come on, Greg! Well, you're missing your mark now.
Shit goes wrong.
That's
Once
right.
that bow, once that arrow leaves the
Listen
string.
to me. When shit goes wrong, you want something a little bit heavier.
the Don, dude. Yeah, the Godfather. I love it. That's you now. That's
I
there you
love
go.
that.
That's
And
Don.
I hope that Greg, I just want you to know, I hope that one day I don't have the problem that my arrow setup doesn't work.
Right.
Like I hope that I never have that situation.
And that's
But right
that's
now,
what it
I will
boils down to.
die by speed. I will die by speed.
And if it works for you, use it. That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's just exactly what it is.
There's a number of ways to kill a deer.
Right.
Like we're not shooting the broadheads you found in your farm. You know,
Right.
if they
Right.
could do it, we can do it. We
Right,
have far more.
right.
modern
That's the way I
tools.
looked at it this year too. I was just like, you know, like think of the way they used to hunt back then. Like that's why I started posting up next to trees. I'm like, if they could do it, why can't I? So I
well,
started
they were
posting
on
up.
horseback, bro.
Well,
That's
well,
Not
they
every
also
time. How
had-
do you know? Not every time.
They also had moccasins. Okay,
Yeah,
They're very
right.
quiet. You got rubber boots.
right.
Different.
Yeah, you got
Hey,
They
I've
were-
taken
they
They
my
were
were
buck
wearing
boots.
the fur. They look like another.
I'm not
animal.
gonna lie. I've taken off my boots and went barefoot to stalk a deer before. I have.
You thought our camouflage was good. Boy, throw
Well,
a deer hide over
I mean,
your back
well,
and
ours-
then walk out there.
Yeah, well, nowadays you might get shot.
Yeah, that's
no
true.
joke.
But okay, so
But
Okay,
so
anyways.
anyway, the broadheads I was using, they were like a hybrid mechanical, and for whatever reason, I'm not blaming it on that by any means, but I got no penetration on this deer, and it almost looked like I went.
grab that arrow off that buck. Feel how heavy that is.
What is that, a bolt? Boy, that thing's short.
Yeah.
It's heavy.
This one's a
You
little
got
different. That
T-Rex
was
arms
similar.
like he does. You get a short draw line.
Feel that. Feel this.
T-Rex.
Think about this.
Dude,
Going,
yeah,
like that's got
T-Rex?
some.
What do you
that's
mean?
Oh
got
yeah,
some
that's
meat.
got some beef
Yeah.
to it.
Yeah.
Mine's
I
definitely
do
lighter.
like the hey Tubbs. One of these days, I'm gonna drive out by you and you're gonna teach me how to fletch arrows because I love the 4-fletch. What do you think of that?
There's
Can I pay you to do me?
you don't have to pay me. You just come and hang out. But
Bring
All
them.
right.
Just bring a couple of.
it's
dark-
in my,
black
it's
and
in
white.
every little thing.
Big.
We could sit here and
Answering the
fall apart.
Tom voice.
Yeah, you come see me.
Come and see
He'll
me.
come and see me. Look out of the ugly side of my face, you know.
You stay for dinner now. You know. Yeah.
Sorry, so I keep.
Okay,
interrupting
so
you. I'm
anyway,
terrible
long
host.
story short, I dragged this one on way too long anyway. But So I pull back, I shoot the deer. It's like I said, it's not a far shot. It's about low 20-yard
You
shot.
whiff the shot. You hit him far back.
Hit him far back. He goes running. We replayed it. We were filming, replayed it. We saw the, take. We're like, well, if the arrow would have penetrated more, it would have hit that lung. The arrow trajectory, or like the path it would have went. It just didn't look like it went in deep at all. So we started looking for blood a little bit. We couldn't find anything, backed out. We went to go grab the other deer. We had some shit, stuff we had to do with cape this deer and stuff for our other buddy, and come back. We're looking. So we just start tracking. It's after dark. We got my buddy's dad came out too to help, because he's like a bloodhound. This guy, you just bring him out there, he just finds blood, So
it's not even from the deer. It's from like some crime scene.
Dude, yeah. You don't know. We're finding something. I don't know what, but we're finding something. But anyway, so like literally just entering, getting out of the cornfield park to go into this like thick, nasty buckthorn. We're all crawling under barbed wire fence, and it's kind of loose. So like his dad's pulling it up. Buddy goes under. I go under. Boom, piece of reed right in my eye. Prairie grass. Like I tried playing it off too, like it was nothing. And I'm talking. It was just like a piece of straw, like prairie looking grass, like marsh grass, kind of. You know what I mean? But they're kind of like you step on them, they crumple over. It wasn't flimsy. It wasn't like a blade.
Like a fucking straw.
Literally went right into my right eye, blew out my whole right cornea. So I have scarring. So like I do have loss of vision here. So like it's dark out. My eyes just profusely watering. I don't know if you guys ever scratched your cornea before, but it's like
most people don't
rough.
do that. Vince.
It's rough.
I had my buddy once.
I did it in a pine tree once too.
Yeah,
it's horrible. And
because he couldn't drive, you couldn't see shit.
That's right. And it is the most like I've broken numerous things, wider jaw shut, and I mean all this crazy shit. Eye pain is the most intense, painful. I mean, it heals the quickest, but it is the most intense, excruciating pain. Like, I can handle pain very well. Like, I mean, this year I think
eye and ear pain are now good,
dude. I shattered my foot, big toe, 7 pieces this year, both wrists at the same time this year.
Eyeballs going.
I was septic. I had blood transfusion. I was in a medically induced coma in the summer and crap. It was a bad year for me. So. Anyway, just to round it up with the old going blind. So I'm like, dude, only me? They're like, only you, Vinny. You shoot a deer, you go blind. I'm like, yeah. But
that's what you get, Vinny.
So yeah, just yo.
You know what's good for eyeball pain?
What's up? You tell me.
You lick my elbow.
Oh, yeah. What is
you lick my elbow?
Oh yeah. Because I'm coming over too. Huh?
I thought it was butthole.
You kept the PG.
That's only shoulder.
I'll lick both elbows. Don't tempt me with a good time. All right. But anyway, yeah. So I'm like trying to play it off in the woods. Like it's pitch black. I can see and I feel like an ass because I never met my buddy's dad, and they're like down there in the thick stuff.
Like I can't see guys.
No, so I'm like, I'm gonna stay up and look.
Don't mind me.
I'm gonna look like and see if he ran up on the edge down the corner. Like knowing he didn't, but like I can't see him. I'm fighting off this pain. His buddy's dad's like looking back. He's on his arms and knees going through thorns and stuff. Like. This ain't even my deer, And I'm like, he's a really cool guy. I didn't know. But I finally get to the point where I'm like struggling to text. And I'm like, you guys got to take me to the hospital because I lost vision. I couldn't see out of either eye. I started shaking in pain, started throwing up. And I had literally had to hold on to ankles to crawl. I was in like a little hole of buckthorn and I was stuck. I couldn't see. So now I'm like sitting there with my eyes shut. I can't open them up. I can smell a skunk coming in from my right. I'm like, oh, this ain't good. And then all of a sudden I hear a pack of Yotes going off and I'm like, they're on my left. So I got like skunk on my knees.
This is the end.
And I'm like sitting there. So finally I open my eye up.
I'm just going to lay here and sleep in the woods tonight, guys. I'm dead.
Yeah. So I basically held on to ankles and then I got to a point where I could crawl out and I held on to shoulders and they took me to the Monroe ER and I stayed the night down there, met his whole family. Don't know what anyone looks like. Was there for 2 days. Yeah. Met the whole family. I was completely blind.
Nice. Mom's like shallow hell.
Yeah,
you guys are so nice.
His mom took care of me. She was a nurse, and she's like feeding me scrambled eggs in the morning and stuff. I'm like, I would really like to meet you one day, know what you look like, But so they ended up driving my truck back for me, and I was completely blind. It took about a week, and then I could start opening my like left eye, my non-injured eye.
Why did it affect your other eye so bad?
Because it was just so much pain and going on. Yeah, like the light was so sensitive I could not open my left eye.
Oh my God.
So I would like sit there and like go on the wall. So like that was another thing where I started praying to God and I'm like, man, I'm just fortunate to be able to see because I lost my vision for a week.
Did you feel like your other senses got heightened?
Oh yeah, like my smell, like I don't know, like I said, I was like, dude, no, I'm not like
he smelt the skunk out there. What he didn't really,
yeah,
dude, no one else smelled the skunk. By the way, that was the land choking up.
Yeah, right. I'm not chewing gummies by me, obviously, you know. But
what actually happened was it was his buddy's uncle.
I got
Brushed bark off the wall is what it
yeah,
Hey,
it's
there's-
passing right now, medical.
Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, that really took a turn for the worst. But what really screwed me is like all of a sudden, like it healed really fast. Like I kind of like turned into like getting into the tub and taking baths. Never been a bath guy, but because I couldn't
This
see,
guy.
I couldn't
This
see.
Bath City.
Well, I couldn't see, so I was like afraid of like slipping and sliding in the shower and falling, and like so I started taking tubs and tubs.
Mr. Bath Bomb. Get this guy a Bath Bomb
Yeah, dude.
sponsorship.
I think I FaceTime you in the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell me, you want to get rid of your scent.
or something.
You don't just take that. They give you take a bath bomb with dirt scent.
Yeah. I
Um,
mean, this guy was
but
all over it.
I forced it. So then I was like, no, I was just like,
You force the tubs.
yes, and I kind of liked it. That's what's even weirder.
Just
I can't help it.
anything relating back to tubs right now
Yeah.
is just
He's like the Don. He's
Yeah.
smoking the
You
stove,
get in my
man.
tub.
You get in my tub.
You get in my
Lick
tub.
my
Get
elbow.
You get in my
Fucking
tub.
cut you with this broadhead, you
Yeah.
piece of shit.
make
He's
you-
sitting
I'd
on the
make you
toilet
an
sharpening
arrow.
a broadhead.
Much, you know.
He's
He
got
doesn't have
a
any toilet paper. We use the pine cones.
he's
here,
just
okay?
got a
Yeah.
he's got a robe on, just like sharpening it. Like
Wow.
you cleaned yourself well, Yeah. Okay.
So that
Anywho.
okay, so that's what happened to us
Uh,
this year, which it's not like a
well-
sob story or it's not
well-
any of those
what
things.
makes it even
but-
go even
It's
better.
perspective.
Well, right. So I forced it. So like by that next
What do you mean
weekend,
you forced it? You like
getting back out hunting
Okay,
too soon.
okay.
So I was
Yeah,
seeing double. So
yeah.
the first time I took my bow
you
out,
can't shoot a deer seeing double.
I go in my
Which
field.
one do you shoot at?
Well, right. Here's
you
here-
might.
Oh, I attempted it. And I failed hard, very hard. So I go out my field, I pull my block out, and I'm like, I had like these really like like the old like you get eye work done. It's like those old granny glasses that like
Oh yeah.
yeah. So I had those.
I gotta find
So
picture.
I'm shooting and I look through my peep sight and I'm seeing 2 of every pin. So I have just the 4-pin sight. You know what I
Which
mean?
one's it gonna be?
Well, right. So
Like a
then
roulette table.
I put on the glasses and I could see 1 pin.
Okay.
So then I'm like, okay, I can do this. Well, it was just not the right move. I went in there prematurely. I was getting like really bad migraines and I
All
actually
that light,
missed
sensitivity.
I missed a
Sure.
really nice buck during this time. I was grounded and pounding. He came in on a doe, half perfect. I mean, it was I would have mounted. It was a bigger buck. Like, I mean, I'm talking. He came right in these pines. He's like 20 yards away, and he made me. So I'm sitting there, and he does like the whole sneak look where they
the
drop.
bob,
Yeah.
yeah.
So like I'm like
Bob and weave.
shoot, I'm gonna take a shot, and it actually hit him in the antlers. I heard a ting 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 ting. ting.
Oh
He
my
took it,
god!
And he
in the
run off.
antlers.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to look at the antlers when you're shooting a buck.
So
Yeah, that's
but I
not
wasn't
real.
even like that afternoon. A unicorn spike ran out. And it was the day before gun opener, and I'm like, you know what, dude? I'm dropping this spike. This is gonna make my season. I was happy about it. I go to shoot 3 feet to the left. I was shooting in between 2 trees. I went and I learned something that way. I was like, I can't go out till I said that is not like
ethical.
I wasn't trying to like
Yeah.
be unethical.
Yep.
I was really just trying to be like tough it out kind of guy. And like then I was like, okay. After that, I missed by 3 feet. I was like, I'm not gonna go back out hunting until my eyes fully healed. But then my first sit after that, I smoked a doe during the gun deer season with my bow because I really wanted to get one with my bow. I was on a mission with that,
Mhm.
and it was actually kind of like I had so many failed attempts this year, but really learning like that's something I was gonna say. Like I probably feel like I learned like 8 years worth of stuff this year by all failed missed opportunities, but like planning things out in my head before I'd go hunt and then actually seeing them happen. I was like, oh my god, like that was a
Well,
huge
dude,
win.
it's really interesting because like the Okayest Hunter mantra is like we celebrate failure
Oh,
not because we're jackasses, because it's our best teacher.
right.
And so we have the 10 commandments of the Okayest Hunter, but we have 11 of them, not 10. And the 11th
know
one
them
is
all?
celebrate failure.
Oh,
No, I don't
Love
remember.
that.
Oh, okay.
But I could go
No,
Google it real quick.
but that's
Yeah,
huge.
let's
I
do that.
love that, dude.
Um,
So basically though, but yeah,
yeah.
I don't know. I arrowed a doe and I actually thought I missed it because it was a clean pass through and I've seen it sit thick into the dirt. I'm like, not again. And also I walk up on
because
it.
he
I'm
shoots a light arrow and it was super fast.
like,
do you guys want to hear the 10 commandments?
yeah, let's
Yeah,
hear it.
yeah,
Put it
yeah.
on me. Let's hear it.
Number one is don't, and there's like some fodder on under each bullet point, but number one is don't take yourself too seriously.
Love that.
2, remember where you started. 3, never pass on making memories. 4 is a shooter buck is in the eye of the beholder. 5, congratulate people you don't know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like that.
6, bring a buddy.
Nice. Dude,
You guys
right?
are, right?
Yeah, this is
Build
what it's
Tesla.
about,
What do we
dude.
got? So
Do it again, come on.
7, always be learning and love the process. It's kind of a twofer.
Yeah.
8, if you don't have anything nice to say, keep it to yourself.
Yes, sir.
Love that for the trolls.
Yep.
Dude, yeah.
9, be mindful of the hunting journey and how everyone is different.
Yeah.
Everyone's got their own pace.
10, never pass again, but never pass time outdoors hunting with family or friends.
Yeah.
And then 11 is celebrate failure.
Yeah.
So that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
that's such a lot of those are so great, but the second half of my caveat for this season is that my uncle, who we've stayed with for gun season for a number of years now, has a cabin up north.
Mhm.
And like days or like a week before Christmas, we found out that he passed away. He had a massive heart attack.
Oh my
and
God.
so this like piece of deer camp, like
Gonna be
minutia,
missing a
is
piece.
gone.
Yeah.
And it was
It's like a whole
when
different
I left deer camp this year, when I left gun season this year,
It was there. It was in town.
he had 2 kids in his first marriage and then remarried, and then both of those boys come to deer camp
Okay.
every year. And before I left gun season, because I had meetings that Monday, so I felt like I had to come back, and so I just did Friday, Saturday, Sunday of gun season this year. And I don't know if it was my mom or somebody in our family said, "Hey, make sure you get a picture before you leave." So from his first marriage, his son lives in South Carolina, actually came up this year. And he's, 45 years old. He's an adult and just happened to be back this year. And he said, make sure you take a picture this year because it was the biggest group that we had at gun camp in a long time. So I get out the GoPro, we take a picture, and it's like, you never know, man. You just never know when that last time is the last time. And I've been thinking, my dad is 70, my uncle is 69 or 71, 1 year older or younger than my dad. And my dad is in great health. My uncle's all right. My other uncle, I had never expected any of this. And we just kept thinking, I keep thinking for the last like 5 years, I'm like, man, I don't know how long I got with my pops to do this. And, I love the fact that just like a week or 2 ago, my dad says, he calls me and he says, I just had my physical and all of my numbers are great. I'm like in the top, like 20% of 70-year-olds. So you're going to have to hunt with me for a couple more years. I'm like, fuck yeah.
You're gonna
because
have
you
to.
know what? Like, I don't know what I'm going to do, man. Like, it's just, and I hate that this is kind of like a heavy,
I've had this
heavy,
before.
heavy
I don't wanna
podcast,
jinx
but
shit like
it's like,
And that's
fuck me,
that's
man.
on a
Like,
wood
I want to be
table.
able to do this forever.
Yeah.
And at some point, I realized that,
There's
like, it might be the last, man. And you just never know,
what's
dude.
the song?
Like,
Time marches on, man.
Yeah,
Like it
it's-
just does.
yeah.
It's that whole gratitude, just being grateful, like we were talking about, just
Mhm.
being there. Like I try to think now that you're talking about it, and like it got my mind spinning. Like, in my dad, he hasn't hunted. Well, he had a massive stroke and all this stuff going on. Like, I can't think back and remember our last. I don't know. Like that's how it happened. Like for me,
Yeah.
So like maybe like you know what I mean. Like so like you're saying like taking even though it might be just a couple hours of a random sit.
Well,
like you know you never know.
A
you know?
less morbid way to look at it is I don't know when the last time I'm going to have a snuggle with my kid in their bed.
Right.
Sure.
Because they might just be like, Dad, I'm good now. I don't need it anymore.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
shit, no one told me that was
Yeah,
the last one.
Right.
I just assumed that would go on
Right.
for a long time.
Right.
So that's less morbid.
Right.
But like, you never know the last thing of anything because it's not like it's earmarked,
Right.
right?
I think
bookmark,
that's
right?
where
Like-
it just goes with
Well,
like
and
being
I
present, you know?
And well, and I feel super fortunate for this last year, and
Yeah.
maybe even just say these last 6 months or whenever it's been since Foam Fest, because of everything that you guys do, and bringing communities together, and bringing this audience of people that are very like-minded, and that are the people who just, man, shit, I'm happy to just go out and hunt.
Yep.
Like that guy is all of us that are listening. And I think that what has happened in the last 6 months or 8 months or whatever it is, you know, Vince I think I can speak for you on this, is that we have found so many individuals that have either reached out to us or that we have reached out to that have had very similar mindsets. I mean, you think about like Anthony Heller.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
what a
We've been friends with him for
super
a long time.
successful dude, hammering 2 studs this year, and just the most humble and
Down to earth.
He's
dude.
always trying to give.
Yeah. And that's
always
that's
trying
it
to
is.
be there
Yeah.
for somebody else. And there are so many people like that we have met and that
look
we
at
have
Greg over
engaged
here.
with. Well, yeah, well, Tubby's
Tub, the
just
Don, dude.
the Don.
Yeah, he's
Tubbs
giving
the Don is going to be there for us when I want to try and figure out how to fletch arrows and all of those things that I think are just such a staple for you, Erik, and your group of guys that you guys have built that have
I think you built community.
advanced our community in such a massive way that we couldn't do on our own. Like one individual can't do on their own, and unless you have
It's
this
like
platform,
Red Rover let you guys come over,
Well,
and suddenly now
right.
we're all glued together.
Right.
right?
In our
You
own
paid
unique
forward.
way.
That is such a perfect
It's
way
like
of
someone
explaining
helps you,
it.
you paid forward, and it just keeps it's a snowball effect. And like
Absolutely,
from Foam Fest too, even meeting like Ben Wellens, you know, from
Right.
He's a
Rush Mountain.
good dude.
Another good
dude.
dude. And it's
He's
like
just such a
like
great
going back
guy.
to like where like that whole I can't have it come. Like I formed like a hunting group of dudes like through the community of going to like things, archery events like Foam Fest and doing that, where it's like I never had now like this year I had deer camp for the first time after just getting
That's
involved in the
awesome,
community. And it's like
Right.
that's what I was looking for. Like it wasn't even about like getting that monster. Like that's what this whole thing. So it's like I got like my hunting group now just through this kind of deal. And
and I
that's the
think
main
that's
thing.
how you overcome
The negativity.
the
You
negative.
just Gary Vee said, you just make
everything.
positivity loud.
Yeah, you're a big Gary Vee guy.
That's how Anthony
remember
Heller and I
that, yeah.
bonded. Like in 2019?
Yeah.
No.
And
Somewhere
that's
there.
where
maybe it's 2017 because
That's
I
a
was
while
in a different home. I was not in this house. We were in a different
Yeah,
house, and
sure.
Anthony came over. My wife cooked him spaghetti or something.
Wow.
And myself, like
she doesn't cook.
she used to cook
spaghetti.
dinner for our guests. That lazy.
What?
I'm just kidding.
Well, we got
Hey,
Cinnabons.
she did give
me a
cinnamon
Yeah,
roll. We're not gonna lie. So,
yeah.
hey, you know.
But Anthony, we
know I
used
took
to do the podcast at the bar at my old house in the basement. At a bar that some owner had built previous to me. It was
Yeah.
a beautiful Wisconsin, like
Right.
brand new fashion type bar.
Yeah.
And Anthony came over. We did a podcast. And he was a big Gary Vee fan. I was a big Gary Vee fan. And shortly thereafter,
I
I
can
went
see
to New York
that.
and I met Gary Vee and got to do that whole thing. And Anthony's just been amazing ever since. And he comes to Foam
Yeah.
Fest. And we go to his thing. He's got
Man,
his
he's
Street
just
Archery
such a
playground
good
that he
dude.
does. And,
Yeah, I know. I'm
um,
itching to try that out.
it's almost like when you have a wedding, you know this.
Yeah.
You're not married yet.
No.
You have a wedding and you throw this big, we had like, I don't know, 300 some, 400 some odd
Yeah.
guests at our wedding. Is huge.
Yeah.
And so like we're among all the people that we love the most in our entire lives.
Right.
And they're all there for us. But like, I wish I could go to my wedding as a guest because it looked like so much damn fun, but we're just going
man.
through those paces.
Yeah.
Right.
And so with Foam Fest, Greg and I cooked up the idea for Foam Fest
Sure.
at Anthony Heller's 3D archery
Awesome.
playground.
Oh, nice.
And I remember walking with Greg. I remember I have a very visual memory. So I remember being at a certain spot, walking down a ravine to go get our arrows.
Yeah.
Or we just we're walking to the next station. And I was like, Greg, we should consider doing something like this. And like, we're out here killing all this foam. Like, let's call it Foam Fest.
Yeah.
Like, we literally had the name born or birthed right there.
Isn't
Right
that
there.
crazy how that
Yeah.
manifests like
We were
that?
going to do it at,
know what I mean?
a
Yeah.
brewery. We were going to do something very different.
Sure.
That didn't pan out. So we're doing it the way we're doing it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Because you guys talked about that last year when you were talking about the
But to
Foam
do-
Fest, like
but
the
to do
announcement and all
Foam
that.
Fest, I don't like the fact that you guys got to meet other people
Yeah.
there and you're in attendance. Like,
Yeah.
I'm at a different place when I'm hosting it.
Right.
Like, I'm
For
like,
sure. It's
I'm
totally
like, who
night
do we
and
take
day.
care of? We got the food. We got I'm all over the place. Like, I'm
Right.
not able to experience the event the way that attendees
Kind
are.
of like, yeah, it's like
So
put
it's
the
good to
brakes
hear that.
on.
It's
Yeah,
good to
no,
hear
it
that.
is. Like, and it was cool, like putting like, or even people like, coming up like, hey, I recognize you. Put names to faces.
Yeah,
where
because we're all
it's like
pen
online.
pals. It's like
Exactly.
digital pen
Yeah. So
pals.
it's like, whoa. So it's kind of cool to see that and then start new friendships that just
Greg's
accumulate.
teaching people how to use a saddle. People are
Yeah.
shooting from a saddle and a
Yeah.
Like, you can't do
Greg's
that. at a
fletching
trade
arrows.
I think I had like
show.
I had
who
like
knows what
Derek's
the hell that
kids run
guy's
up and they're
doing.
like, he was my good luck charm. Remember that I had the kids run at
Yeah.
Derek's?
Yeah.
He's like, my son likes, he's up there. He's helping
Like,
me
kids
eagle
are
eye
literally
now.
making
Yeah.
like core memories finding sheds at that event.
It was cool.
Yeah.
It was super cool.
My daughter
Well,
found
and
a
I
moose
met-
shed that Derek brought. Like,
Oh,
that was a big deal.
yeah.
You know, like it's exciting.
You had the
for
little
them.
coloring book thing. Remember?
Yeah.
I remember I took a picture. I see when like someone had colored in like a
Vince
bug.
actually colored.
You know what I love coloring books.
But you know,
and you meet these people who help you kind of through a lot of that stuff. And I'll speak very selfishly on it that I have not talked about kind of a lot of the things that I've gone through in the last
all that. That's hard.
3 months.
Yep.
Except for I just remember I was so pissed at my wife
Uh-oh.
when I went in for surgery and she took like 3 pictures of me with like the
You felt
stupid like
you were
grippy
mad that-
socks.
Yeah.
And I had just come out
You don't like to be vulnerable.
and because I'm the guy
I'm
that
a man. I'm a man. God,
I'm a
let me
fucking
fuck.
man.
Got me peek out. Let me spread my wings, Captain.
check it.
so
Come on.
I'm the guy that I'll tell you anything
I'm
and
a man, I'm
everything
40.
you want to
Wake up in the
know
morning,
about
piss
me.
excellence.
Yeah. I will tell you anything and everything you want to know about me, but I also like to do that when I know everything's going to be all right.
Sure.
And it's a very different conversation now than it was
When you're in it.
2 hours
Oh,
after
sure.
I got out of surgery. And I saw that my wife had tagged me in like a number of pictures and she said, say a prayer for this guy. And
She needed that,
said-
though. She needed that.
Right.
and that's totally
That's
good.
cool.
And I shared it right away.
Mhm.
And I don't
Maybe
even know
you needed it.
what
That
it
probably all
was.
helped.
And
Right.
there were tons of comments and all of those things. But you know what? Until like, I don't know, it was the middle of December and I had posted something about a tree in my backyard. And I thought, you know what? There are so many things in our life and in our lives that resemble a tree. Is that shit can happen to you and you can be broken down and your leaves will fall off. And God damn it, you will rebuild and you will be better in the coming months or the coming years or whatever that is. That was exactly the moment that I knew that I needed to say something about it. Cause it's like, I'm not afraid to talk about it.
Mhm.
Yeah, shitty. But at the same
It's not
time,
like you chose to do this to yourself.
it was
like,
not my,
which makes it feel weird in and of itself. Like,
yeah. But I felt at peace with it at that point, knowing, hey, you know what? Whatever it is, it is. And you've been through some shit and
Yeah.
everybody's been through something that they're like, damn it, this is exactly what I didn't want to have happen this year. And you know what? It's gonna be all right.
It's weird that God did it right in hunting season,
Well,
too.
right.
So it's a little bit more impressionable than it
Damn
would have
it,
been
during the
otherwise.
rut?
That
My
means-
guy?
and that's the way
The big
yeah.
guy.
Well, that's what.
Come on.
That's because he's trying to teach you something. That's one way I had to learn that all
Dial
those
it
all those
back.
things that are out of your
Dial it
control.
back.
Right. It's maybe
Who's
he's
in
trying
charge
to
here?
hey,
Yeah, not you.
Yeah.
teaching you gratitude,
Yeah,
man,
you're
being
not in
grateful,
charge.
you
Yeah.
know, or teaching you how to be patient, or teaching you how to do this. It's putting you in these shitty situations where you don't like it, but it's like,
But what's
man,
the other thing? He won't give you anything you can't handle.
exactly.
Yeah.
So like when your faith is strong, it makes those hard situations easier because you just put faith in
Right.
that, knowing, hey, like you said.
So when you
you're
were
gonna be
about
okay.
to get sprayed by a skunk and eaten by coyotes,
hey,
He was
I just
ready
knew,
to
hey,
You're
you're grabbing
with
you're
the
telling me about
landowner.
grabbing ankles. I think you're
I-
grabbing your own ankles, kissing me after
Yeah.
goodbye.
I held on the ankles and I knew I was going to be okay.
In the military,
know?
they call those monkey fuckers.
That might sound a little weird, but hey, you know. But yeah, no, it was a year of that. Like me and ET were talking, like I did not even expect to like film or do content, or I started this whole Ruck Chronicles thing. I like
the Rock Chronicles. Talk about that.
Okay, so like that was something that was one of those random, like I was doing something and it was a thought and it just manifested, because instead of like a hunter's journal, I basically did like a journal via my emotions
Social.
going through it,
Yep.
through that. But I never like a few of them I did like really like maybe pivotal or key ones that like I missed a monster. I blew up a chance at a monster buck and I maybe do that, but I held on to them and I
Do you
still
want
have
to talk
like
about that or not?
I will, and I still have a ton of them. But I found myself through each sit in that emotion of how I was feeling, whether I was excited or upset or whatever I was feeling in that moment. I would record that, and I never posted them, or a majority of them. I'd say like probably 90% of them I never did. And I'm sitting there one day, and it was after the gun season had passed, and I'm in my tree, and I'm like, what am I going to do with all this? It's kind of cool for me to look back. I enjoyed looking back at them. And I was like, I really want to share this, but I don't know a way. And then all of a sudden, the thought, for whatever reason, the show Intervention popped in my head. And I'm like, oh, like the Rut Chronicles. Like, how cool would that be? Like a way of me to be able to share this experience without just randomly shooting crap out of there.
Yep.
So it was just like
a chapter book or something.
Yeah, it was almost just like sit by sit. I'm gonna share my interview and what I went through in that moment and that experience, and that's kind of how that just. I didn't know how to really what I was gonna do with it, or I wanted to share it, and I didn't know how, and I didn't want to just flood, whatever. So I made it in like a schematic way.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the beautiful thing, though. And
so
for anybody that doesn't follow this guy, if you need a laugh on a regular basis, it's just it's so comical. I mean, if you could, whenever I talk to anybody about
I'm
this,
a feeler, dude. Like I feel emotion to the fullest.
You're feeling it all right. So
when I'm passionate,
if I ever explain who Vince Markwiese is, I'm like, if you need a WWE superstar to cut a promo, there he is.
Hey,
because it's whenever this man, it's not even like he's on. It's just that's who he is, and he brings the energy, and he'll be there for you. And
thank you.
If you need a laugh,
guys, I mean,
this guy
elbows, elbows are up.
We're not licking elbows in the studio today,
and that's what makes. Makes everything just so cool is that it's like, man, you never know who you're going to meet. And I mean, you're very different from me and I'm very different from Vince, and Tubbs is just out there throwing bows. And, it's just, that's what makes everything so cool about this is that you never know when you're going to be vulnerable and when you're going through some shit and you need people.
Let's oh my God, all my words are
tongue twisters
fucking flowing together.
It's because we're going to be a bottle of bourbon deep by the end of this.
The unicorn spike as a 30-year-old man.
Oh, I would have been on cloud 9.
You would have, but then what happened
decorator.
That? You know what I'm saying? That's the shit that like I'm trying to convey as a brand is like you don't understand what someone's going through or where they're at in their journey.
And that's why I love what you're doing.
You have gotten a bow kill. Is that correct?
No, with a buck.
Correct.
Yes.
That would have been a buck.
Exactly.
And call so what you want. The one behind you there in the milk crates, that was first buck right there ever.
Exactly. That's why I was attracted to what you guys are doing. It's just like that like-mindedness because that's how I operate, not just hunting, but my whole life in general.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that I've had if we're going off on all this deep, vulnerability stuff, like my family life is shit. My mom and dad, huge house. I brought my mom back to life. Well, I just did over the holidays again. So, 10 times my dad master. I when I go to the woods, that is like or the water. When I'm on muskie fishing.
Yeah.
That is like where things are constant. They're always okay.
You can rely and depend on that.
Yes. Like that is where I talk. Like
that's
it's just
your church. Dude.
It's even, it's literally, it's like a higher spiritual feeling. There's been times where I've been in like the bottom of the bottom of the bottom and I stayed at my farm for 2 weeks straight.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's why I'm so passionate about it. It's more than just that. It's
Tubbs. What is going on over there?
He's getting
what is happening, Joe Mom?
He's trimming back
trimming your
nails?
His
cuticles. Or he's getting the dirt underneath. I would do the same. Yeah.
No,
hey,
make sure it's sharp.
You're for the
just take.
Hey, he's a rock guy.
There we go. Be able to take
playing the violin.
He's the Don. He's got the music going like that, But anyway, dude. So, but yeah, I would have been ecstatic, and I'm just like that. Even like with like muskie fishing, like, dude, I get a freaking little 28-incher on. I'm still slime time, baby. I'm out here, fucking, I'm jacked, But same with even seeing does. I mean, I'm still shaking that one. That remember I called you. I was just like, dude. The woods is lit up like a techno dance party. There's Luminox everywhere. The tube freaking snapped in my face.
One of the best memories.
I kicked over a can. So those Primos, like the Primos can? Those? Well, I was unaware. They have a little plastic thing underneath those?
I was unaware.
You can peel those off.
How about this for an Okayest moment?
But I didn't know that. I had Ritter come help me for a different buck that I shouldered. And I never found it. So that was another failed attempt. And he's like, Vince, let me see that call. He's like, he looks at me, peels the little plastic thing off, tips it upside down, no noise. He's like, "There's your problem." Well, I bought this thing like 10 years ago. I never removed like the lift sticker, so it's like if that happens, it doesn't
Lift
make a
after
noise.
purchasing.
it's like a air what to do with the air, you know what I-
vacuum seal. Yeah.
So I left that sticker on for the last 10, 12 years. I mean, it's in my fanny. I'm walking in, it's meh, every step I take, But I was,
Sounded like a penguin
talking
walking out to the woods.
with Matt, your buddy Matt with, Weathered Oaks.
Matt Strime?
Strime, you're right. He was putting me on this whole ground and pound this thing this year, which I've never done in my life. So I was just like, light bulb went off when he was talking to me, like, go to the deer. I'm always just going to just tree stands that have been on the farm in the same spot for the last 30 years.
Come by.
Hoping.
Yeah,
So
they
like,
could.
right.
Yep.
But this year I took that different approach and I was just like, whoa, I can go
to the deer.
Yeah, it sounds so
It's like,
dumb.
why didn't you
but
just
it
get
was-
a hole-in-one, Billy Madison?
Yeah, it was so enlightening. So
We got a
anyway,
caller, or what's going on
I
with that?
declined to hear. There we go. It's done.
so
Okay.
anyway, it was just
It's
but-
actually Derek.
yeah,
Sorry,
right. Yeah,
Derek.
hey guys, bro, it's snowy out here. But that was like a huge game changer for me. So I actually, once I started just going and having no blind and just going and sitting wherever I felt fit, I don't think I sat in my tree stand for a couple months.
Are you mobile hunting now, or
Yeah. So like I mean, I sat in my tree stand maybe a handful of times,
Yeah.
but I literally was just going, finding a tree, posting up next to it, and that was it.
Okay.
Sitting on the ground.
yeah, dude, still hunting from the ground is a great way to go.
Right.
Yeah.
And
I did
honestly,
that for years.
I actually, I'm not going to lie in it. I mean, I have no shame in it, but like I blew probably over 5 opportunities at
Five
nice
was my
big
guess,
bucks.
yeah.
One that was, I mean, I've never seen a deer that big in that close where you can like see the eye like lash. Like, I mean, this thing, he came in and it was like one of those
Man,
things
I
we're
see 'em
talking
right
about
now.
where,
I don't know what you're talking about.
well, right. Well, I'm saying, yeah, but you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
me personally, never seen a deer of this.
Those encounters make for incredible seasons because once you realize you can get close, it's a mental shift.
Man, it's
Well,
a,
So
it's
you're
a
in the red zone now. You
game
just got to get in the end
changer.
zone.
So
but you've been stuck at the 50-yard line previous to this.
Yeah. So I encountered this deer the night before and right at last light, and he just never popped out, and I was in my tree stand. And I saw him kind of go to an area across the farm, and I looked at the weather, and that's where I really changed the game for myself this year was, okay, let's think of this like, all right, I'm going to put myself in a scenario based on what I see in the prediction of the weather and the wind and what I've seen firsthand out in the
Man,
woods.
we talked about weather.
I'm going to
too many times.
try to
this
be
year.
like a weatherman and predict what I think these deer are going to be doing in this moment tomorrow morning where I'm going to set up. That's where I changed my game this year. And to actually have that manifest and see that follow through, like, yeah, I've dropped the
One
pot,
thing I've talked
you
about a
know?
lot on the show is
But-
like affirmations, and a lot of times as hunters we don't get those affirmations. You can be in
Yeah.
the right spot and never know it.
Right.
But like once you
And I was
are and you get
blessed
those
with that.
affirmations,
Because
it's like
it's
light
5
bulbs start
seconds.
firing off.
It's
And
5
that's-
seconds.
yeah.
is
And
the-
that's where-
that's when you get the affirmation.
Like, I was pissed about the blown opportunity, but I was just like, I've never in my 30 years, I wasn't hunting when I was, but you know what I'm saying? 30 years old, I've never experienced that amount of success at failed attempts this
Mhm.
year of what I envisioned happening. And I'm like, I was like, if I just keep doing this and keep honing in on this, it's only a matter of time,
Correct.
So yes, I pulled back this thing, I had a feeling to put out estrus because I saw this big buck cruising the night before. And he didn't, I gave a little, at him and a little blit. He wanted nothing to do with it. And I don't really use scent. And I thought, man, maybe if I had a little scent out, whatever. So I ended up just that morning, putting a little scent on a wick over a scrape that I saw where I was posted up next to a pine tree. And he came flying out the corn like a freight train. He goes right to the scent, broadside, 10 yards. I'm on the ground. I pull back.
Oh my God, it worked.
And I just,
God, it worked.
I kicked that can and it made that noise. And he looks at me and just like my fingers literally like on the, like, I don't know how I didn't pull the trigger on the release. Like I'm sitting there like this and I just see him running and I'm just stuck here. And I'm like,
fever, sir, you froze up.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
And it was wild and it was awesome. And I was just like, what just happened? But like you said, though, it was a huge successful year that way for me.
And I think that's where we, both Vince and I have grown a lot this year. It's just, Vince, you've had many different opportunities and
I've
you've had
more than ever experienced this year.
5 to 8 different
Bucks.
opportunities where it was, we can kill at this moment.
20 yards.
And I think for me, it was a realization that, I don't know if I said this earlier or not, but it was my expectation going into this year was 0.
Mhm.
It was nil. It was last year and 2 years ago. 2 years ago, my dad shot his first ever deer with a bow after 47 years of bow hunting. And last year, I shot our family's biggest ever deer bow hunting.
Back to back.
Anything.
Yep.
Deer hunting. And this year it was, my expectations are 0. And I think what matters is being out there, going through the motions. And that's a terrible way of saying it, but sitting, being at deer camp, doing all of these things. Vince came up and we do all of these
Cut
things.
my undies off up there. Remember that?
Oh yeah, he just shit his pants in the woods, and then all of a sudden he's just
Undies with
commando.
Wimpy deer camp, right?
And it's not always about shooting a deer,
Mhm.
and we get so far away from that it's so much more about the peace and the quiet
The memories
and the
you make, too.
learning and everything that you go through when you go out to the woods, the deer woods, that, man, it doesn't matter what happens.
Mhm.
Like I wrote down, like, as we've been talking about this for a month now, that we were going to come in after the first of the year, and all I do is watch YouTube videos of people shooting deer. I said my first hot take that I was going to come in with and just kind of shock everybody was, stop not shooting deer
That's why I have a sweatshirt
when
that says
your
shoot deer.
angle
Yes.
when your angle of your camera isn't right.
Yep.
Like, so what that is blocked? Just shoot the damn
Well,
deer.
if I was with a camera, this guy wouldn't be dead.
Right?
And that's just, it's like there are so many things that people are so concerned with.
I was guilty of that.
It's
at
like,
a
you know what?
younger age.
My uncle's not going to be there this year.
Mhm.
I wish he would have just shot whatever deer he saw this year.
Mhm.
And there are so many things that go into it that it's like, man, stop worrying about everything else. Just go out and do your thing. And
Well, and going,
like you
going
and I
up-
have talked about it. Like, I don't want to shoot does, but there are so many freaking does in Waukesha
Gotta
County.
shoot, man.
that-
Start
No.
shooting dough.
Vince will take a doe. You'll take a doe. Tubbs will
Dude,
take a
let's go.
doe.
Let's go.
Hell, I'll
Let's go.
send them out to
Man,
everybody.
I filled my go tags. I'm good.
Yeah,
Well, I got
man.
plenty of doe tags. I got 3 of them for Waukesha County.
I think it just goes like you said. When that's maybe why sometimes people are given seasons the way maybe you had. It's a matter of perspective. When you need to change
I
and
know,
shift
I
the
see that.
perspective. I brought up the techno dance party.
This
See,
thing
yeah.
is
Strobing.
spazzing out. I don't know how
Yeah.
much time we have left
Well,
before
let's
this thing
hope.
takes a turd on us.
But anyway, but yeah, man. So that was basically it, dude. Like you said, going off. I think you even said it in another show you guys had, or like I remember Derek made a really great post on it. Like this was the most successful year that I've
yeah, I
had.
remember that
I mean,
post.
and I did.
Yeah.
I mean, and
Yeah.
I did harvest a doe, and I'm fully happy about that. Like I said, my doe, I already ate the whole thing. I mean, honestly, that's what I want to do. Like from the game, that's in here now,
From the
you know?
ass to the
But-
teeth.
But that's the thing,
This
just
guy.
like, and that's why I like the correlation, like with lifting. It's like, how do you get bigger in the gym? You push yourself till failure. That's
Yeah.
where you grow. That's when your hypertrophy. Can't speak. I've got your tongue twisters now.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
But that's the same thing, man. Like, that's how you learn.
Without
it's like
stress,
man.
there's no like
Right. You can't grow in
stress plus
comfortability.
rest equals growth.
You're a big man on
Yeah.
like the philosophy and stuff like
Yep.
I am. I know you are.
Yep.
Like, so that's why I vibe with you on that stuff. It's just like, but it all correlates too, just like you said in the deer woods, like those same laws of nature, of attraction, of, those commandments, like those all apply in the woods as well.
Yep.
So like, I think when you change your perspective, then, all of a sudden you start to see good things happening too. You know what I mean? It's an energy thing,
Well, like
Yeah.
the one that's up here, which I just hung, which it's not on camera,
Okay.
but that is the 8 that was in the video where my kid said, "D."
Oh, yeah.
Was it? That's
Yeah.
that's
the
it.
gun bust from
Yeah.
this year,
And how cool was that? You know what I mean?
so I don't know. How many,
It might be your smallest back ever, but
I had
that
to
is
do
the
it. It
memory
was a
you will
really-
have forever.
It was a really interesting moment. My bow season was awesome.
Yeah.
I had
I remember talking to you. You
opportunities
had
of really
opportunity.
big.
Yeah, you did.
big deer. Ugh.
Oh, I saw that one video where it ducked the
There's,
string.
but that
man.
was nothing compared to what happened after that. Like,
Yeah.
so I mean, I've never had a shot at 150-inch deer in my life.
Yeah.
I did this year, and it busted me through a bush, and I couldn't believe it. Nonetheless, bow season was incredible for that reason.
Right.
Like having those opportunities told me I'm onto it. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's just hard when they get apparently that big and smart, which I also used to argue against. Like, they're not that freaking smart. Well, apparently they are. So come gun season, I'm in the same old spot in the same old woods I've been going to for a little over a decade now.
Yeah.
Think how much happens in a decade. Like 10 years ago, I didn't have any kids. I wasn't married. I have a house. None of those things.
Right.
So like a life has changed and morphed in that time frame.
It's a 30-year life.
But I'm still in the same spot in the woods, so it means so much to me. So the woods change a little bit. Like some trees are down, things are a little bit different, but it's the same territory, same property. And the woods illuminates to some degree. This thing's just
total shit show.
Crazy. I don't know what to do with that. And anyway, so this guy comes along. They had a doe also, and I didn't see the doe. I saw him first, and I was like, I'm shooting a deer because my daughter's been writing me about getting a deer. She's sick. She's like, Dad, you got to get a deer. And so I had no hesitation. I
you knew it.
Sent it immediately. And what's interesting, I don't forfeit's not the right word, but I've talked about this too. What as a human, through human nature, we have this like desire to progress. So a spike might become a 4, might become a 6, might become an 8, might become 10, a 12, and then a 130 might become 140, 150, 160, 180. Then you can only shoot that caliber because heaven forbid you go backwards.
Yeah.
So earlier in 2023, I got rid of my truck.
Okay.
Which is really interesting because I didn't realize my truck was tied to my ego until I had to get rid of the damn thing. I didn't have to get rid of it, but it felt like it was a smarter move for my family financially with where we're at.
Boy,
we're a
tell me
single
about
income
it.
family.
I've done that. I did that.
We're single income, but I've had this truck for 3 years. The lease ended. I bought it out, a year before I got rid of it, and then I was taking these payments for double what I was paying on the lease because the world changed.
Yeah,
there's no more inventory, so I bought my own truck for double the price I was paying on a monthly basis. I was like, well, it's fine. We'll figure it out. A year goes by of paying double the price, and I was like, this is painful.
Not the move.
And financially trying to make some choices. And I'm like, you know what? This truck doesn't define me. It's fine.
But
let's get rid of it. So I took you. Well, then I brought home this car instead. I got a car, and they're not the color that I wanted either. In fact, the exact
nothing that you wanted.
I was like,
probably
the one color I didn't effing want was this one, but like all these other ones I've been looking at didn't pan out. Like this one had mechanical defects, this one had accident, all these problems.
Naturally, this one that's perfect
has
the
fucking blue car. I bring it home. My kids were like, they call it Bluey. And they
Bluey.
My kids think it's the coolest thing in the world. They're like, that is the coolest thing I've ever seen, Dad. They don't give a shit. They don't even remember that I had a truck. And I was like,
it's irrelevant to them. Yeah.
Whoa. I was
what
so
a perspective,
concerned about the stupid truck, and my kids could give a shit.
Oh, yeah. I'm still concerned about your truck.
So,
FYI.
So when this buck comes along, I'm like,
do you have the car?
I had a thought for 2 seconds about like, why would I take a step back? I shot this 136-inch last year. I don't need to shoot a small basket rack 8. But I was like, I had the best bow season ever. This is gun season. This is different.
Yeah.
I'm in my woods. My dog's been riding my ass, but I have no meat. I haven't shot shit yet this year.
Yeah.
I sent it. I no sooner or later than call my kids on FaceTime because that's what I do. They're not at deer camp yet. They're not old enough. So like I call them, they pick up, and my son starts chanting, deer, deer. My daughter starts chanting deer. And I'm like,
I love that.
Boom, core memory. Codify the decision.
Hell yeah, man.
It's okay to go backwards in life.
Yeah.
You can take a step back to take 2 forward. Financially, deer, pick your fucking poison. For real. We as a society have a problem. We're not willing to go backwards to go forward. And so we fail up. You trip up the stairs instead of falling back a couple.
Like the parallel,
I think that's
a good one.
That's such a problem
hard,
with what a lot of people think right now is that, I mean, you think about buying a car, dude. It's a 10% APR. That's just such bullshit.
Yeah. But like,
and it's like, how
do you go from this to that?
Like you're saying, like
the memory here is different.
Set that ego aside, right?
Yeah,
that's probably even more. You know what I mean? I don't know, but like I seen that.
This one is a bit more memorable. Well, for a couple reasons, but nonetheless, like that.
Yeah, but who
memory,
cares,
for sure,
dude? You want like I think about that, and I texted Vince so many times this year, and I'm like, if a 6-pointer walks out, I'm shooting it right away.
Yep.
I'm shooting it. I don't care what it is.
Right.
I have a basement I got to decorate.
For real?
And you know what?
Yep.
That would be just fine if that's what was hanging in the basement.
And even
I'm good with it.
And you can't put a bigger value on a memory.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
And even I know you guys said it. Like I know where I was failing it when I was younger. Like you said, I was when I was, years ago, I'd say even 5+ years ago, I let a lot of bucks walk with my bow that I had no business letting walk because I
You
had
never
nothing.
shot one.
Exactly. So like this year for me,
That's what Matt Strime had happen to him.
yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I've let
He
basket
blames
eights,
TV.
and I'm like, dude, like I let all these deer because I mean, on my farm, it's very good property. Oh, that's a basket. Or this, I see bigger bucks on my camera. Like you'll say a handful of bigger bucks on my camera in that same spot. I'm gonna let this one go. For what reason? What do I have to, So like me putting that ego aside, just like you did with the truck and the car, like that parallel there.
What a great analogy.
But here's the thing: it's like, would I have really been able to connect the dots on a freaking booner when I'm out here slinging 3 feet left on a unicorn? So like, I needed to shoot those shots this year. I needed to put myself in those situations, going through the whole, and like even just taking the mindset of, like if I knew, like I saw like a fawn come out, or I knew I was going to smoke this, like it was a mom with 2 fawns early season, or like my first set.
You shot them both.
No, I didn't. But like pulling back on deer and putting myself in situations like just to like go through that whole.
When
it's a whole.
When do you draw back? How long?
Yeah.
Can you hold
When
for?
should I? When it goes behind this tree? At what moment? How long do I want to, like you said, hold it for? So like that's a whole nother ball game. And then just going through the experience of missing those shots, or getting buck fever, or doing stupid things, or like the ground and pound thing that I learned too is like, whoa, I can't. I'm hunting some really thick stuff where I'm basically got like one shooting lane, or maybe like a dicey second one. Whoa, Vince, I need to cut a freaking drawback lane because whoa, he comes up on me.
Right.
He's right on top of me. You think
Then you can't move.
You think I'm 15 yards in front of me? I'm going to pull back and do this when I'm on the ground. He's looking right at. Like I was like, oh, light bulb. So me failing at that, I was like, I need to cut a draw. I know where they're kind of coming from. I'm going to cut a drawback lane here, so then I know when
you
he
can pull back when they
so
come
like,
in.
but
Yep.
I never would have knew that if I
Yeah.
didn't fail. I mean, maybe I could have picked that up and like listening to something. But like, I'm a visual guy.
It's
I knew,
different when
it's
you're doing
different. It sticks when you
and
mess
it's good when
up.
you hear it and then you experience it because it's a double dose.
So like, I was pumped this year. I was not. I did. I had a lot of good. Like you said, I knew I was putting myself on the spot.
Yep.
And that was a huge battle right there. So like, if anything. And I didn't even know I was going to go bow hunting this year, just with all my life circumstances going on. So I was like, this was like a big dub for me this year.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I got a deer, hey, and
And I think that's where we've connected so much, Vince, is that, man, I didn't know what was going to happen this year. And I felt like I set myself up for failure this year, where anybody who asked me, what do you think is going to happen this year? And I'm like, no, my bar is so low. I've had 2 phenomenal seasons. Me, my dad, whatever it is. I'm like, no, I don't even care. Whatever happens this year happens this year. And I felt like the second that I got to the top of my tree stand, I was like, fuck, the game is on.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Where I can't not shoot a buck this year.
Mm-hmm.
I can't not do this again. I can't have another pin post. I can't not do all of these things. And it's like, it's such bullshit that
We started a
everybody
new tradition this year.
Exactly.
Yeah, boom.
And everybody wants to live up to something, and it's so overplayed.
It's a weird high though. Like this isn't talked about.
I was high, but I'm still high over my buck.
You kill a big buck like that, and then the waves and droves of people that start like jumping in. So like I posted some old school 2 years ago what else content.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
dude,
I talked about like
so
if you're
great,
trying
man.
to kill a big buck and you think that's going to make you friends, you're going to be depressed real quick.
Oh yeah.
And
you know what?
Interesting
And
to see
that
what happens when that happens, because it's like your wedding day.
Yeah.
It's like congrats. Right. You're just stacks up and you're like, holy shit.
Well,
Who
then
are
it's
these
50
people?
grand down the
But
hall.
it's not like are you saying like it's not real fulfillment?
I'm saying like it's fleeting.
Like it's
It's fleeting. It
It
comes
is.
in and then, but like it's like the happy birthday on Facebook. My birthday comes around. The number of people that comment happy birthday to me that I haven't talked to in 10 fucking years.
Right.
I'm like,
Cool.
what? Dude, I don't even know who you are.
Right.
And you're trying to say happy birthday to me so you can get some recognition that you
Yeah.
commented on my shit.
Right.
I got a big buck
It's
and you
just-
say
it's a
congrats because you want to be
bizarre
attached
world.
to it. It's really interesting.
It is.
But some people, like the Hunt Quietly podcast, will talk about this.
Okay.
I don't know how I feel about them completely. But nonetheless, it's like there's these dopamine hits that people get by doing that shit. And that's what we talked about last week with the ethics and the morality that comes from like people making sketchy choices around poaching
What a
and
great
killing
show
content.
that was.
The whole freaking thing is like, it's almost even hard to blame people because the social media folk that developed this shit have done such a good job of creating a drug-like situation.
It is. Like hitting it's such a drop of dopamine.
It's so
like
weird,
said,
right?
You know what I mean?
But I'm not for that.
No.
Yeah.
Just not. And having gone through the like, you're damn right I'm gonna post my grip and grin hunting quietly.
Hell yeah.
But I'm not doing it for the hit.
Right.
It's not what it's about.
But I think
though.
when you
It's just it's more dynamic than that. But there are people that are doing it for the hit.
It's almost like you said, like almost like you're kind of saying, like, I mean, this is putting into like a way of saying it. Yeah, that was
what the fuck? Why not?
That was an elbow licker
here
right there, Tubbs.
I changed the screen, but I can't.
But
it's all.
It's like you're never gonna. It's kind of like almost in a way
there.
of saying, if this makes sense. I don't know if you're gonna understand what I'm saying, but like you're not selling your soul. Like you're not just gonna change what you're about. Like I think what it comes down to, the way I like to hold myself is just like I have core values, core foundations. I'm gonna do like things that are meaningful to me. Like you have, like the Okayest 11 laws of commandments, and like you stand by that. And whether that runs with the status quo or not with the status quo, you're gonna do like sometimes
it is what it is.
Sometimes your things align with what's going on, and that's okay. Yep. There's no shame in that.
But like I wouldn't have shot that buck if I cared about inches.
Exactly.
I mean,
exactly.
And I would have robbed myself of memory.
What?
But I think
G2 to G3.
My point I'm trying to make is I think that is where the more successful people in life, I'm not even talking just in a financial way, is when you operate that way,
when
that
you
is
don't give a
long
shit
game,
about other
right?
people.
Exactly. Because you got that foundation. You're not just you don't stand in the sand. You're not just going with what's trendy and boom, you get crumpled. Exactly.
Stand for something.
That is set up for success.
Yeah. Talk to Greg from the guys. I got to piss in my pants here.
Greggy boy.
The Don. Don
has left the building.
Okay, so the Don. What is my question for the Don? Tubbs, what were we talking about the other day? We talked for about 45 minutes. And what was the most impactful thing that we talked about? Douchebags in the outdoor industry. One of them.
In the outdoor industry.
Hey, man.
Yeah, and you know what? I think it was actually after that I wrote that down and said, you know what? Anybody that doesn't shoot deer because they don't have the damn video camera, I'm like, boy, I hope I never get to that
and
point.
We know people like that.
Oh, do we know people?
We know they're closer to us than we actually realize. And we can give them a little shit. Some of them some of them take the shit.
They're not even field pointing me there, pal.
If you're gonna be about it, then be about it. Like you gotta take that shit too. Don't get offended. Don't
get field on that arrow.
You're gonna talk shit behind my back because I don't kill a giant buck every year. I don't kill a buck every year because I make it a point to pass on stuff. I shouldn't pass on it, but I have my own standards, and I'm trying to march to my own little band here.
Yeah, I felt a little weird about that this year.
Drum, dude.
I'll elaborate on that. So
you never apologize for being what makes you happy.
I felt a little weird about that this year, where I thought, you know what? It's not about me shooting of a respectable deer, and respectable can be in the eye of the beholder. That I shot a really nice deer last year, and I will die for an 8-pointer. I think 8-pointers are beautiful, beautiful deer. And I think that I came to this realization that I don't care if I shoot a small deer. It's not about the horns, but I will wait for a deer that is somewhat decent.
Yeah.
And I'm totally cool with that. And if I don't shoot a deer because I'm waiting, I'm totally good with that.
I've been good with that.
I passed on a spike that gave me a great shot.
I had a fork that was sitting there at 11 yards.
And I was just like, this is early season.
Yeah, we can all justify it, right?
But it was like
every situation's justifiable.
Hunt your own
Exactly.
damn hunt.
You look
Like, I
through the
was telling
comments.
myself,
You look through the
like,
comments here. Rick
It's a baby.
Rick the peasant even says, from a mile.
That might have been drunk, Eric. I don't know what that was.
If you're out a few miles into public and you don't want to expend all the energy dragging back, a doe fawn or a small rack buck, I get it. I was at that point once upon a time in my life where I didn't have a problem shooting spikes 2-3 miles back on a log.
Oh, Todd, you're still shooting. The
I'd be there right, like you said though. But like,
every
yeah,
situation
every
is different.
situation.
Yeah, I hadn't shot deer in forever, so that's what I did.
And I'm not gonna feel bad about it. Like if that's what a line, like I don't care what this Joe Schmo says. Like if I was an air, like honestly, like even though I probably would have, if I had opportunity to spike early season, I probably would have passed on him, even though I don't know if I should have. It was just in that moment, like you said, the situation, it's totally different in that moment, whatever it is, and you shouldn't feel, any type of way. Like I don't.
Yeah, and that's totally all about it. Is that, man? If I had the start of my season all over, boy, I would have arrowed a number of deer because I'm like,
you didn't realize what you're up
holy
against.
shit, I would have. It's not retroflective or retrospective or what. I don't know.
Making up words over here.
Now the urban's talking.
Well, it might be, but looking backwards, I'm like, shit, man. I found a number of different Instagram accounts that are making all these delicious venison things that I'm
And
like,
I'm
hell
on
yeah,
paper over here because
I want to make that, or I want to.
Don't rub it.
I need a roast that I could do this, and I don't have any of those meats, so I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put in 5 days of effort, and if it's shooting 3 does, or if it's shooting no does, or if it's shooting 1 buck, or whatever the hell it ends up being,
I mean, for me this
I'm
year,
cool with that.
Even too, what I've never done it this year is I went out on hunts where I've never have and just didn't hunt and just wanted to capture the moment and just like that, take that stroll on it. You know what I'm saying? Which I've never really done, but like I almost was like, dang, like I find a lot of joy myself in like not being the character and telling the story too, like, and I've never done that in the woods or in the field before. Whereas like I went out there, I just wanted to, film the experience and like be a part of it. And like, it was just as fucking cool as me with my bow in my hand or my gun in my hand. Like that's where I think it gets to the part where it's just like, dude, all that, shoot, it's all a crock of shit.
There's
man.
a
Like,
lot
I
of
don't
shit
even
that
put
can
a lot of-
infiltrate
I
your
don't even put a lot of
mind,
energy
and-
into thinking about it, honestly. I'm just,
Yeah.
You don't have to waste the energy on impressing anybody. You do it for you, and that's all it matters.
like, dude, we had
Tubbs.
some sick
Except
duck
for
hunts and
Tubbs.
doing some other stuff out there. I was just, I'm down in the reeds. I'm on my belly, just soaking in the water in my waders, like, doing stuff like that. That was so fun, man. I was like a little kid out there, dude. Loved it.
I just had to make Greg full screen.
Yeah,
This
full
is now-
screen
dude,
Tubbs.
the
Full screen at
switchboard
Joe
has
Mama's.
failed. I think it overheated,
Oh, wow.
and I
Yeah,
can't
what the
reconnect
shit,
it now.
man?
And so now we got Greg, and that's fine. Otherwise, I have
That's
to
full
push
screen.
myself. And I
Yeah,
don't know
that's
how I
all
feel
right.
about
Yeah, we don't want
As long as we keep my shirt on, we're good.
Straight sex
Hey,
appeal,
you
baby.
come to
Yeah,
my
man.
house. You come out there like Mills. I show you how to fletch the
Oh
arrows.
boy!
So it was.
I teach you what you want about arrow
See,
weight.
now we got the FaceTime camera. It's not working great.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, guys.
Yeah.
I show you everything you need to know about FOC.
What are you talking about?
That's what I'm trying to figure out here.
Oh man,
It
I
was
love this.
We had a cool
So
little-
all right, so is this it? Is this it? We're gonna wrap. I feel like
you
it's
got
been like
50-minute drive back. To
Yeah,
a
yeah.
snowstorm?
I'm on the old tradesman winter right now. We just our roof trusses are all out of shit, so I actually got the week off. So
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm in no hurry.
That
I mean, do
worked out
whatever you
good.
want to do. Yeah, I'm in no. Yeah, trusses are all.
Come to my house and you
rough design,
see
yeah.
how shitty it all is. I feel like you could probably do a number here.
those
Hey,
playhouses.
man, dude. Give me a
It's-
job. Tubbs,
it's
you and me could
different
go.
things.
We could go on something. You and me could lit something up
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
We're trade.
The tradesman.
Greg's nodding.
I love
Yeah,
that.
maybe.
It's so hard because it's like
I don't
we're
know if I-
trying to angle up
standards,
towards
though.
him, and it's
Yeah.
just it's delayed. But,
But
you know,
remember that cat eating the asshole out of the?
oh my god,
yeah, dude,
yeah.
this little-
Tell the
This
story.
little like feral cat, dude. It kept popping. It's like
shit, this
we're out there. I'm like
tabby.
frisbee disking freaking hamburger buns out there to this cat, and like we had his dad, Papa
Hamburgers,
Mel.
hamburger buns.
Yeah, so his dad smoked a dough, and like we'd come back from hunting, dude, and all of a sudden I'm seeing the dough just shaking, dude, like it's weight, it's out there, and I'm like, dude, I think the cat's eating the dough, so go up there, cat's just straight up eating butthole, I'm like, ah! It was a cool memory. I'm always gonna remember the deer cat. The cat was eating
This is one hell of a memory to end the podcast on.
My dad's got some weird situations with cats.
Not weird.
His dad almost shot it though. He's like, if it comes back one more time.
No, I think this
he was about to arrow a tabby.
Man. But it was a lot of, it was a good learning year, and
hopefully those that tuned in needed to hear this.
Yeah. Hey, you know what? I'll say this. So life is never over until it's over. And that seems bleak, but there's a lot of shit that happens in life that you are able to overcome. And as long as you're just okay, gonna be all right.
I like that.
Keep on keeping.
Hey, the only guarantee in this life is that no one gets out alive.
Yeah, well, you might get the HIV, and you never know. And
hey, man,
hey, here we are,
the old 1-9er,
the C19er.
You might go to the gym, get
syphilis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know which gym you're going to.
Hey, man. No, I'm just kidding. But
we'll see on TikTok in a few days.
I think it's, man, you never know. Like, I think the one thing, if you're going to go off that, I'll give, it's just, can wake up, your whole world can be upside down. I think it's just, man, one of those.
Perspective. This episode's about perspective.
Perspective, man. Be present in the moment, cherish it, look around, open up them senses like you're blind, and, just sniff the roses, the Dom. Tubbs.
Anything? Well, I was going to.
I don't have any cameras on it,
this.
so I don't know. Here it is.
Hey, let's go.
Tubbs, I got one of those for you. I'm leaving those one for you. One of those one for you.
I didn't even do a little.
And if you don't put that on your glasses, I'm not really sure what else you're going to do with it.
You want Tubbs to go blind too?
Yeah, there we go. Wisco, baby.
Where do people follow you guys? I know you said in the beginning. Say it again.
Yeah, Wisco Bowhunting at Wisco Bowhunting. I'm on TikTok and also Instagram, and then Erik Tasker on Facebook. So
I'm at Vince Markwiese on Instagram.
Fuck, dude, no one's gonna spell Markwiese. You got to try again.
Yeah,
Markwiese, German Vincent Markwiese. I know it sounds like
okay. Well, don't get all
I know a little German. Hey,
I'm very cultural.
Hey,
Snapback Outdoors might be easier.
That's the
Snapback
easiest.
Outdoors.
Grow that.
Okay, Snapback Outdoors on Instagram, and then it's my personal name on Instagram and TikTok too. But Snapback Outdoors, follow me if you want a good Rut Chronicles, little thing situation. But me and ET do a lot of stuff. We got Winter League coming up, and doing some things out of Buck Rub, and looking forward to the year to come, and getting down to it with you boys,
Maybe next time Tubbs will not be such a vagina, and he'll show up in Oconomowoc.
What?
Half the bottle is gone.
But I'm buzzing, baby. But I've got a very short drive home.
Yeah, you do. I don't even want to hear about it.
Well, actually, I'm walking home.
There you go.
I'm driving them home. Don't worry. I'm DD. I'm just ripping cans of energy drinks.
Sleep over.
This is energy. Sleep over.
I thought about it.
Energy.
Yeah, but I haven't said much about it, and I probably shouldn't say it on this. But we're gonna have a base camp, and select members.
Careful, this is a public forum. You might have a big weird house party on your.
Mama Bear's in for a treat,
We're not going to say
I get
anything
back
else
from Vegas
about
the day before, so I may or may not be able to.
You
make
will
it.
be there, is what you told me.
I said I might be able to make it.
I will talk to
very, very tempted about my commitments.
I know. No, I totally get that. But God bless you. God bless America. And happy New Year. Jake Break.
God bless America.
America. And I don't know.
Who let these jokes in the podcast?
Half rack, shooter buck, beast mode,
wild games,
archery
baby,
challenge. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'll keep going. I'll keep plugging sponsors.
All right, guys, have a good night.
Good night.
Thanks for tuning in.
Drive safe.
Good Lord.